5 seconds remaining.
The Dire.
I mean, there's so many great coaches with awesome pedigree in this tournament as a whole, but you know, especially these two teams, right? Tundra, you look at Howie 2000, then Fnatic, Sunby. We all know the history of these two players, or former players, I suppose you could say specifically, and now being these coaches. Odds, but where the coaches are the most important certainly is the draft. KP, we have a draft.
Yeah, I love that you bring up those coaches. Just a lot of pedigree there. You know, Sunby representing the coaching side for so many years. Aoi, TI winner. Actually one of my favorite all-time players. You know, I'm a very big fan of the guy. I got a lot of love for what he's done, both as a coach, as a caster, and as a player. You know, there's not many people that can brag that they've done all three of those roles at a TI level, but he has, and he definitely brings someone special to the squad. So definitely interested to see how this one's going to play out. I mean, Tundra, you know, a little bit slow to rise, but at the top, Fnatic quickly recovering. When we came into this halfway through, when you saw how Tundra's doing compared to Fnatic, before that Asta series between Fnatic and Asta, you would have assumed this is a 2-0 for Tundra, but now you just have to throw your notes away. Anything can happen there.
Oh yeah. No, we've got to see a lot of Tundra over here on Streamy specifically. We haven't, at least I haven't personally covered any Fnatic myself over here on Streamy. So again, I know all about them certainly, and I've been hearing how they've been performing. But knowing what I've seen out of Tundra, Fnatic certainly has their work cut out for them. We are going to open a Crystal Maiden, a support hero that has certainly risen the ranks when it comes to TI group stage.
Yeah, I mentioned it for Snay before we even got the draft. I expected it. I mean, this guy is vibing on this hero right now. It is his most played hero in competitive Dota. He has 9 games total, 8 wins, and only a single loss. This guy's on fire, ironically with a hero that's made of ice. And, well, she is icing the veins, cool as can be, because right now, as it stands, 31 picks and a 77% win rate for the CM here at TI.
It's insane. I mean, for a hero that's 13th overall, to have a 77-78% win percentage, it really is absurd. So, understandable why Tundra is very confident the first pick. It's specifically that stat you pointed out too, being 8-1 record individually for Tundra. But the Clockwork early response, a hero that hasn't had as much success necessarily when you do look at that overall win percentage, but still understandable why teams like him.
Yeah, it's a staple TI pick, right? No matter what you're in, it feels like Shaker and Clockwork come around. They're both heroes that have been criticized, scrutinized in past days. But I have to give some credit, especially to the Clockwork more than the Shaker. Clockwork is recovering on the stats. He has appeared, I believe it was in about 20 to 25% of games so far. And he has a 48% win rate. And when he's not picked, he actually gets banned about 45% of the time. So you can see that this is a priority in each team's mind. It's not just a flavor pick for one side or the other.
Yeah, it's always going to be useful, but what we've been seeing more is just even getting that shard, you know, picking up that jetpack, just being this really annoying support hero that's in your front lines and starting these fights or tanking ganks, as we've specifically seen. Everyone remembers Gardic from last night, of course, over there making those big plays with Clockwork. So seeing what Fnatic can do with this hero, but they're going to pair it with a Death Prophet and then a pretty quick Broodmother for Tundra.
Yeah, good old Gardic or Gardic, however you want to give him, whatever his nickname's going to be. He's definitely going to have some by the end here, but of course we're not going to see him here. What we're going to see is that DP that has been banned out quite frequently, especially against SEA or if Chinese teams are involved in the equation, but finally gets through. And as we said, you know, leading into TI, this is one of the most popular picks of the SEA region, at least in the high-level pub games. So definitely excited to see what's going to happen and how they're going to flex it. You know, there is the possibility this is going to be something for 2 to 5. We've definitely seen a lot of that, and I think SEA and China specifically held on to this dream of the support Death Prophet still being relevant when other regions gave up on it. Well, you did mention the Brood, so we'll quickly glaze over that. 33 special, baby. You know, you mentioned it. This is your start. This is the guy you want to see them play around. Maybe not on the level of Visage, but Brood, we've still seen some amazing displays out of this godly micro.
5 seconds remaining.
He's a hero that, honestly, you look at the opening of Fnatic as well, he's not necessarily too concerned about either. He's got great mobility, obviously not really concerned about the cogs necessarily, and can get away from the siphons and the exorcism use of Death Prophet. So, and the silence really doesn't affect a Broodmother, especially in comparison to a lot of other heroes. So I can see why Tundra was really almost snap picked this in that second spot. And to top it all off, as you pointed out, in the hands of 3-3. That's just kind of the chef's kiss, as we say.
say la magnifique if you want to be more elegant about it, you know, and someone that could be very elegant here is a solution to Brood deep in the draft. But thinking Raven here is historically, I know he likes to play a lot of Gyrocopter, hasn't done much in competitive recently, but I'm actually on the bandwagon. Talked to Wagger a little bit about this, you know, against these type of creep-based heroes in the offlane, things like Beast and Brood come to mind. Gyro can be a good solution, and we've seen some Gyro-focused drafts that work really well. Fnatic, like I said, this is one of the regions and one of the teams that are still willing to flex that DP to a support role. So this could just be 3 core picks back to back for them.
Ban on the other side before we see what is happening.
Here's the Radiant ban.
Chaos Knight taken away. Skitter, specialty of his, and one that he ran a couple times, of course, in these group stages. Not gonna have the option here though, but Templar Assassin, that final ban to go with the Monkey King and the Pango. Monkey King's an interesting. I feel like Monkey King we've been seeing banned a ton by these teams, but we haven't actually seen a pick. It's just he's not good enough to first 2 pick, but it's like he's usually banned in those 3 to 5th spots.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, you have to get rid of it against the Brood. It's one of the better counters to Brood. That's why usually whenever you see that ban, there's almost always going to be a Brood ban or a Brood pick in the games. It's just that type of hero that almost crashes your PC because it's so fast at wiping out the Spider Army.
A lot of reserve time being used here.
Yeah, so I wonder if they're thinking about going for the Naga Siren ban. It depends where their draft wants to go, but like usually when you pick Brood Mother, there's 2 ways to look at it. This hero is going to take over the game and end the game in favor of the team. This hero is going to distract us, create space for something else. And heroes that definitely come to mind, definitely I'd say Skitter's standout, consistent hero here at TI so far has been the Naga. I think he's maybe only lost 1 game so far, several wins to his name.
If I recall, Tundra necessarily running a ton of Raven. Right? I believe in the laning phase, you know, may have potentially been pretty good and okay against these heroes so far, I suppose. So a little interested on that ban and whether it's.
There you go. That makes a little bit more sense of it. Is this idea that they want to get probably multiple melee cores at this point? You know, I mentioned that this is likely going to be your 2 supports. Also, Clockwork doesn't really like ruling Razor too much. You know, you go on top of him, you battery assault, you cogs in. Razor's like, great, I'm just going to leash you. We're going to stand here for a while, and then eventually you're going to have so many whiplashes over you, you're going to need to go get a
5
paramedic
seconds remaining.
Plenty of Pudge this event in that core role, and the hooking Pudges, it's been fun. So yeah, then one that of course is good against the Brood Mother. Points.
He has a 68% win rate. He's been picked 22 times. Pudge is pretty lethal in the right game, and it makes a lot of sense when you consider the opening from Tundra. You know, you've got like an immobile support in the mixer, followed up by a very mobile support, but then you've also got this Brood Mother that has insatiable hunger. So you're not going to get as much lifesteal once you get the Ags online on the Pudge, and Broods don't really build BKB. The current compositions, usually they're going towards, you know, these kind of utility items like the drums, like the Wraith packs, so you will be exposed in these fights and unable to easily sustain on the side. Love to see the Hoodwink coming out from Saxa though. I feel like this is his most standout hero in my eyes at this tournament so far. I don't think it's his most played hero in competitive at the moment, as he does get, you know, a decent amount of Marcy and the likes in there. But the games we've seen so far, when he does get this Hoodwink, guy looks like an absolute god.
Yeah, he's a very comfortable hero. The point about Pudge as well as, I mean, Hoodwink could kind of another reason why the stats of Tundra said going in, this team loves to kill. They are leading the groups right now as far as the gambling agreement. Pudge is another one of these cores that not concerned about that. In fact, you know, he's fine with that. He'll be encouraged to do so as well. So I think Fnatic perhaps has that logic as well to work with. But Lifestealer, get her Lifestealers.
Lifestealer has arrived because they're going to try to snatch everything away from Fnatic. So I'm going to keep in mind with Fnatic, don't be deceived by this Pudge pick or this Clockwork. This is a team that doesn't fight that much. They actually have one of the lowest kills and hero damage averages coming into this event. They're very focused on map control, which is why the DP made a lot of sense as an opener. Just want to see them play towards their strengths there. I don't expect this Pudge to really participate much until he's got all of his items and they're ready to go. And if they couple this DP with another push type hero or roche-taking hero, they'll have clear timings. And as long as they can evade the pressure of Tundra, Fnatic will reach their comfort zone.
Well, there's only so much avoiding you can't do against a team that's just running at you and trying to force these fights. And again, this lineup screams that Tundra is certainly going to be active earlier on. Lifestealer being a core fits that role. So Fnatic is going to have to find that fine balance, I suppose you could say. But they'll finish their top 4 at least with a Lich.
So this is looking more like a DP2 now, because usually when you pick Lich, it's to cover a squishy mid, and you have the Pudge as well that can also cover a squishy mid. So it looks like a lot of this is going to be drafted around the DP. Quite a cool pick. They needed some reaction to the lifestealer, because it has to be said the lifesteal is one of the best counters to Pudge possible in the game, which is why Tundra so naturally go into it. Looking to round out these drafts, I'm expecting to see probably an offlaner Fnatic, and then for Tundra, they still need to get their mid for 9. Oh, by the way, seeing as we're here, I feel like it's an appropriate thing to point out. It is Zhao Nuel's birthday, so really big happy birthday to him. I'm sure what he'd love is a win over Tundra.
Well, yeah, that kind of goes hand in hand. They not only win over Tundra, but win their final series too, get a top 4 spot, and feel pretty good going into the playoffs. Certainly, so a little bit extra that Fnatic is playing for.
You know, maybe they get a cake halfway through, like, and that could go both ways, right? Some people get a cake in the middle of the series. It gets you that sugar rush. You're fully paying attention. Other people, it's maybe a bit of a food coma. You know, I don't know if the TI requirement is you have to eat your whole cake.
10
Okay, Jack might be in trouble.
I don't know if you want to be taking down too much sugar when there's a lot of games to be playing. But
It's very early on the day for that, right?
yeah, it's a little early for that cake.
It's like, I'll cover that one up
save
for
that for later.
tiebreakers.
I mean, save that for later. Yeah, you know, once it's all done. But that is a good point. I mean, tiebreakers are obviously very possible as well, with how things are shaping up. So you also got to be prepared that you could be playing multiple more matches.
Yeah, what a present for your birthday. You don't get to sleep tonight. Oh, that was a great present when I was like 8, Dad. But now I really want to get some nap time after a long day of games. A long time being picked on the final phase here. Lots of reserve time has been used by Fnatic. Tundra, a little bit more calm as a cucumber here. They will round out the bans to the SF. Makes a lot of sense because Fnatic could still flex that DP to the offlane, get an SF in the mid, and have a clear win condition. And SF has been no pushover in this group stage so far. He actually matches Marcy for most picked and has a better win rate than her.
Right, that final pick for Tundra, though, the mid-hero, it's, yeah, or a Batrider would have been fantastic, so it could have been there. I'm thinking of one that's kind of a lifestealer transport, right? Because they don't necessarily have that yet. Storm Spirit comes to mind as, like, off the bat, but...
You'd be picking Storm against 4 heroes that can get you there, right? Like, I wanted to think Pangolier or someone akin to that, but it's another issue that pick as well, is you've got like the silence, you've got the dismember. Oh, you're right, I'm an idiot, ignore me. But like those type of heroes, Primal Beast, did he get removed from the pool? He's still there, actually, surprisingly so.
Yep,
Boom.
there you go.
Yeah, it just makes so much sense because like the idea of these spirits, like it's similar to what Primal Beast does. The difference is Primal Beast doesn't care about all this lockdown. He just goes in anyway. You can't kill him quick enough. It's a respectable pick, even on the lane against the DP. You know, ever since the changes to DP, where she doesn't have as big of a movement mouse over you, it's very difficult to disengage if he starts trampling on top of you. So I think Fnatic are likely to now pick a mid and just push this DP into the free roll.
That's what I was going to say with the DP pick earlier on, how they've been running in. And certainly the flex, you know, as you mentioned, we've using that support role. So I guess just that flex option is really that makes him that good second pick in the end.
Okay.
Nice against
that is very
Lifestealer. Yeah, this is
okay.
I love the voice line straight away from 9. It's almost like he's like, oh, you're going to try that one. I don't think you're going to find too much success there, buddy. I mean, I don't feel like Huskar's been that successful. We've only caught 1 or 2 games, but it looks flimsy. It looks vulnerable. I think Huskar, more so than ever, more so than any hero, it kind of reminds me of where Viper was at for a long time, where it's this hero that has a really good bullish start to the game, but then if you overextend, you get caught out once or twice, like your game is ruined. Yeah. I think that game I'm referencing did end up being a win, but it most definitely wasn't due to the Huskar.
No, it was. I was going to bring that up. Because Corey was actually the team to run it in this series. And that's only Huskar we have seen, apparently, according to the stats that we're looking at here. So, but yeah, he wasn't the reason. It was the Shadow Fiend in that game, certainly, that dominated. So, but to that point, he does feel like a good hero here overall. Like great pretty solid, I would think, in the laning phase. One that could not be as concerned about the Primal Beast, you know, running in and trampling on top of you. So, and obviously a fantastic hero potentially against the Lifestealer as well. So, yeah, I see what they're thinking.
Hold up, we've got a big switcheroo here. Actually, this is a little bit different. It's a Pudge free and a Death Prophet 1.
Yeah, Raven's playing the DP. Okay.
Now, but this makes sense for what it's talking about, their idea, right? Like, if you look at all the heroes with the DP, these are all kill heroes. But that's not what Fnatic play for. They buy time and they play towards objectives. They're all about how they control the lanes and then play towards Roshan towers afterwards. So, for Fnatic's game philosophy, this way of drafting this makes a lot more sense. So I'm in favor of it. It's just a question mark on whether they're going to have enough to deal with this Primal Beast early on. I would lean slightly towards Tundra based on these two drafts. I think they have great solutions to these tanky heroes of the Lifestealer, and the disarm of the Huskar's not going to help much. The Primal Beast doesn't feel fully answered. They can at least hunt Saxa constantly on this Hoodwing, but I think like if your draft is only good at hunting supports, it's not going to be enough to get you through. So slightly Tundra favored, but still could go either way.
I think Lifestealer kind of, I don't know if it threw off Fnatic a bit, but it's what ultimately is making this change for them, I feel like, because the Pudge, if he was the position one, you're prioritizing all that, you know, early farm on him. The Lifestealer, as we pointed out, he doesn't.
Game one.
Enjoys that. He will even do more damage against him. So the idea that you would have that is probably not the best feeling. So I think that might be one of the big selling points why Fnatic decided to have Pudge
Total numbers
Death Prophet in now. But again, Husker does feel like a solid pick here, as we mentioned, both with laning phase. He is great against the Lifestealer as well. It's just a matter, can they enable him? Will he be able to capitalize on that laning that he's setting up to potentially have, and then transition?
I don't necessarily think Huskar is that amazing against the Lifestealer, just from the rage perspective, right? So you lose a big chunk of your damage and you get slapped down by physical. I get where you come from though, that the disarm in a prolonged fight is good. But I love your point around the Pudge specifically. Like, it's this kind of weird feeling where you see your opponents are going for a healing lineup, and Pudge Ags makes a lot of sense, so you pick it. There's like one hero that gives more sustain, more healing, more lifesteal, that counters out that Pudge idea so well, and it is the Lifestealer. So I love that play by Tundra. Like, it's going to be pretty effective here, and it's one of Skit's most played heroes, so definitely a comfortable pick for him. We are just waiting on a pause before we get into the game, but like, yeah, I think in terms of priority lanes, ones that have to pop off for me, you know, Fnatic, I mentioned they want to make a lot of space to reach their win condition. Their win condition is very clearly Raven on this DP, so keep an eye out for that lane. Like, if the side of Tundra are able to deny that or push the DP off the lane quickly once they hit Six on 33, then this game gets very uncomfortable for Fnatic.
Yeah, it's certainly a possibility. So as you mentioned, we are on the pause here. That's why we're still on our beautiful faces, but we'll jump into the game once get things going here. The first game of the day, you know, make sure the tech issues Peter is warming up for what potentially is a long day, as we mentioned. Tiebreakers with the parity in this in these group stages. I believe we're gonna have at least some tiebreaker. Honestly, wouldn't that be epic in terms of tiebreakers for like the elimination match? Like, knowing that if you lose that, you're done. It's both that twist of epic, but at the same time, you know, unfortunate.
Yeah, it's not a sweat for either of these teams. I think it's impossible for Fnatic to end up now in a situation where they have to worry about that. But what they're playing for is upper bracket, maybe. You know, if they get a 2-0 here, they could comfortably sit themselves there, depending on the results from Thunder Awaken a little bit later today. But for me, the bigger story is going to be what comes up later when what you're talking about is, you know, we've got some series involving the likes of Sonics and Gaiman Gladiators who are on the edge of falling into despair if BetBoom or Boom win the series. Admittedly unlikely for those who don't know, BetBoom and Boom, their last series respectively are against LGT and EG. So, you know, pour one out for the Boom Boys. It's going to be a hard day for them, but
hey, I'll say this on that, EG, they're guaranteed first place, you know.
No, don't give me that stuff, Breaky. I hate that stuff.
Not saying, no, I'm not saying that, obviously, I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh, they're just going to give it to them, but there is that mental checkout. There's that, yeah, there is. That's fair. Like, you know, they might try something a little funky or, you know, have more fun with it, you could say. But I mean, they're competitors, right? So I'm sure they're not just gonna give up by any means. But to that, I think that is a little bit of an opening. But I want to actually address real quickly what you said about Fnatic. Good to go. Technically, they're not. If they go 0-4 today, and other teams at the bottom go, 4-0, even 3-1 potentially, there is a chance Fnatic could still be eliminated. That goes back to the point that it really is still so close for these teams. So you just need to make sure that you win and take care of your own business.
Yeah, I forgot. It's 2 series remain for TSM Talon, so you're right. It could get a little bit shaky. If TSM and Talon win both their series, they've got 8 wins, and Fnatic loses everything, they're going to be stuck on 7. So that could relegate them, especially considering NC, and I think Entity's clashing with one of the Talon series, so that might make it even more difficult. Like, the probability of Fnatic being eliminated must be about 2%. So Fnatic fans, don't panic too much. Don't worry, it's finally time to boogaloo on into a game of Dota 2. We get underway with game number 1 between Tundra and Fnatic.
Fate is in their control. That's the most important thing. That's the best feeling that you could have going into a final like this. And well, obviously what I mean by that is, like, as long as you take care of your own business and you win, you're good. That's all that matters. So both of these teams, that is the case in terms of trying to not only get top 4, but again, in Fnatic's case especially, even stay alive here in the group.
Fnatic na to, Fnatic.
All right, we got the early
yan.
though, as far as the route about to spawn, and both teams just stand off here.
Yeah, this is what a lot of teams have been doing. They've just evenly spread out 5 heroes along the river to just keep an eye out for any deep water attempts. Of course, the way you spread out usually isn't fleshed across the entire map, which is why it's very easy to get these north and south wards down, at least on your own safe side. We got more or less
Play
mirror
Raven.
So we get the good.
Actually, no, Raven. Yeah, so Fnatic.
Ano naman ni
Yeah,
Jobs?
they did commit the second one. Yeah, it's more or less
All my time off
complete
there.
mirroring of. Interesting. So let's talk a little bit about this mid lane, because I think we've seen a lot of situations where people have tried to find solutions to the Primal Beast and failed. I'm curious to see what the Huskar can do. Considering the inner fire build, it could work if the onslaught is used early, because at that point you're pushing this enemy 400 units away, which is far enough to disengage from the trample.
So, want to touch on that in a second too, but you look at the lane setups here. Tundra, I believe it's their decision here in terms of trying to match up and setting the lifesteal at the bottom lane. They wanted to match up against this Punch Lich down here, and then that means, of course, their Broodmother are going to be up against that Clockwork Death Prophet at the top. So a bit of mind games coming out as far as the early lane phase. Again, a reminder, this is technically a position 1 Death Prophet in the hands of Raven, but trying to make the lane set up, but the Tundra team making their early adjustments now.
Yeah, I think it's a great read by Tundra. It's quite predictable. Like, you can't go the other way about this. We already mentioned the lifestealer counters out the Pudge on lane and beyond lane. So, the best thing they could have done is just tried for this gambit, but they made the better play in the fact that they didn't give this hero to Raven. I think if he just gets shut out of his farm, you have to then have this big question mark on where your win condition is. DP in the mid against the Primal Beast, I already mentioned that I don't like that. I think you move way too slow, and ever since they made the change to Spirit Siphon where you don't slow and return anymore, the Primal Beast will not stop. He will kill you.
KP, we forgot to mention the hook on the bounty rune at the beginning of the game. Oh my gosh, so game change. This game is just so in favor of Fnatic now.
He got 2 bounties.
Okay.
Two bounties.
It's game over, man. No, obviously that's one
It's
of the
an
fun things to
outcome,
do
and
with
Raven's
the
playing an out. No, kidding. There's no outcome.
is you got the hook, but it was a 3-for-1 in favor of Fnatic, so certainly
It's a nice
to their
start.
benefit.
Definitely a nice start. And the nice thing about that is it gets him quicker to this ring that he needs badly, and lovely hook there. Gets the fat creep. Just like how close he is to ring of health. This is very important in this lane, because otherwise you're just slowly going to get whittled down by this combo of Lifestealer and the Hoodwink that can easily guarantee some slaps with these Bushwhacks.
Jungle over there. But yeah, back to this Primal Beast. Honestly, thinking of these transport targets, and especially when we saw it picked up, and it really feels like potentially one of the best options you could have with the left to bottom lane. We do see
he's
Jason
gone.
trouble.
He's
Going back over to Horacio, but he is just dead, isn't he? No, he's gonna off the stick.
Yeah, his hook was on cooldown for 4 seconds. That was what he's waiting for. Man, you see the Jarl's got his work cut out for him. If he's not with the Pudge at all, if he doesn't come in with the immediate save with the Frost Shield, they're just going to run him down with the physical damage. Meanwhile,
But yeah,
starting to get impact here. Like, this is what I was concerned about. Like, the nice thing about for Armel is you play low health in this lane, so you can then harass more back. But Tundra, like, I don't know, man. I'm still not convinced that this will be the answer to the Primal Beast, because of how easily he just turns around and overwhelms you with physical damage.
But yeah, again, the Primal Beast seems like a fantastic transport for the Lifestealer, because not only is he one that he's got that 2,000 range, as he loved to reiterate over and over again, but the follow-up that he can bring from the pulverize to the trample, the uproar, everything is just so good about being on top of them. The damage assistance that he'll be able to provide with that Lifestealer is it's going to be intense, and it's going to be difficult to deal with for Fnatic once it really comes online.
I mean,
Maganda yung
swag,
Husker,
they even connect with the team. The Pudge is going to live, but it feels painful to be a bully type laner and be bullied this hard. Like, Lifestealer is one of those subtle bullies. Just overwhelms mid lane 9.
Million eh.
Oh, Mel comes out ahead.
Lumamang tayo sa mid dun ah. Jabs lang ang delikado.
I think what happened here, if I'm not mistaken, did he start with Trample? Because if you start with Trample, you get a low chance to kill.
Nice, lamang din tayo sa top.
That's going to be a 2-on-1 where DJ gets the kill. Wow.
Yeah, Death Prophet not even there exactly. TJ's just manning up against the both, and the Cog Trap causing issues. So yeah, well played there. Again, back to the Huskar, he's definitely getting a bit further ahead now in the CS and having that kill to work with as well, the level advantage as we see. So this is that Huskar final pick that if you're going to do it, you better be sure that he has a great laning.
Patay na ta.
Carmel is guaranteeing that bottom lane.
That's he tried to frustrate the acorn shots.
Ay,
And
marunong ka pala niyan, Jabs
so he just came in with a hook. But yeah, just to like the point in this mid lane though, like the weird part for me is now the dynamic completely changes. Like, this is a race to 6. Armel's going to beat him, and then once that life break, you know, you remember that Shadow Demon that you were really big on for the idea of countering out the Primal Beast. You kind of get a similar effect. This slow stops you from engaging. Snake King in the meantime will go down to the top. I think it's really important to round out this fort. The combo has to be trampled into Onslaught, because if you look at the damage type, I think it's the other way around. Physical damage is on Onslaught, and Magical's on Trample. Thinking that physical damage is going to pummel on top of Raven here, so good rotation out of 9. Realizes he can't win the mid lane anymore, so might as well win the outers.
Yeah, and Crystal Maiden's having a tough time up there, understandably, especially with the Broodmother partner. You know, how much Brood is going to do other than try to be intimidating with attacks. Different story with the Primal Beast rotations. The excellent kill on Raven, playing that Death Prophet. Head back to the mid lane, but exactly. Huskar continues to farm away. He's got the armlet build. Works, is top net worth currently, but 9 will need to be active in other lane, because this lane is already a lost cause at this point.
Yeah, like I said, if you're ahead, what you can do is you can bully him out. But like I said, it's the order of the combo. The trample has to happen first, because if you use the magical when he's high on health, he gets less of the magic resistance. And the whole idea is you treat this onslaught as like a kind of a Dagon effect thing, where it's just your last.
Oh, Bushwick's gonna
Snake King ah.
Again, Snake King is not
mamamatay ka na
having a
naman
game
ah.
whatsoever. DJ has been so
Sorry.
on point with this clockwork.
Frost Shield is kind of the Iron Chill synergy. The Frost Shield in this case, a great ability to have, partner with the Clockwork. As we see right there. Even without it's probably a kill anyways, but just more of a guarantee
Patay na naman
that
sa
kill
Jabs.
is actually happening. Pudge is by himself currently at the bottom lane.
Ganda rin skin ni Jabs ah.
Got the Vanguard. He also went for a Ring of Protection. I love that small detail. Like, this is a hero with no armor, right? It's 0.6 by default, so just adding that a little bit extra bulk into the equation. Good choice. And Skidder, until he's got the armlet, he can't stop bullying again, so he might need to be babysat a little against Jabs.
Not afraid to play a bit more aggressive now, as you mentioned with the Vanguard. We are going to be seeing armlet on multiple heroes this game. One being the Huskar, of course, and the other one being the Lifestealer. This is pretty traditional build on these two heroes.
Okay, push natin yung top.
Well,
Push yung top push.
Lifestealer will be the solution to most of what Fnatic has. I
Nice,
think when it
nakagat.
comes to the DP specifically, it's not
Kinulong.
as much as others. So great. What a rotation out of Jabs.
Ay, kulong agad eh.
No way does he get away from that. DJ will clean him up with a rocket flare. Now, EXO was committed, so they need to get the tower out of this.
Dire's middle tower.
yeah, that would be ideal, and only with the Bushwhack here, so they should be able to. The hook is going to miss. Oxa going right instead of left. That's really the right direction. Snake King nearby, but they're going to pop fortification. Exorcism is going to wear out in about 10 seconds, so I don't think they're going to be able to get this tier 1 tower. But I mean, they got the Broodmother kill, and they're really controlling this top lane now. At least time being. So I still think it's just certainly a
Ipinadyan
victory
well.
of sorts for them. But you look what's happening bottom lane. They understand
Yan.
everyone up at the top lane, so they're trying to kill this Lich down here. It's making it difficult though.
You can't make it difficult enough though. Skitter's just going to tap him down casually.
Need some
This
friends.
Gage won't even help him. Saves the race to the very end. We'll finish him off. And while
Nagpakamatay
that's
talaga.
happening, Clockwork in the top lane will also be punished for being in a little bit too deep on this drop out.
Dire's
Yeah,
middle
that's
tower.
two kills going away. Another hook just missing the
Radiant's
bushwhack.
bottom tower faces a stiff
More so
Did they
than
have
wind.
vision? Like, I don't think they even had vision. That was just a blind hope for a hook. So he still back to walk up and then he ran back, but the scurry made him fast enough. And wow, that's a big one.
Still made and rotating. Hasn't been the greatest game for Snake.
Hindi
A couple of
obra
deaths on him, but
maka-exhaust
that's a
ka
hell
na.
of a kill.
Like a
3
drunk
deaths in fact already on him.
sailor.
Setting up onto
Exotic na
Armel.
hero.
The first death on the Husker, certainly needed for Tundra. And immediately going to smoke up with the lifestealer and go to the top lane, yeah.
Yeah, well, there's no exo for 60 seconds still. Like, realistically, Fnatic, they got stuck here because they have 2 cores in the same lane. And now they feel
Radiant's
committed.
bottom tower faces
They are
a
going to be
stiff
punished for it.
wind.
Skitter cuts the tree and looks to move in.
Dire's top
Cut
tower.
onto DJ. That'll create the space for him to at least secure the tower. But won't be able to save the life of DJ here. Instead, they're going to give over a second one. 9 does arrive for the party. Pudge will be leaving in the body bag.
Sharpshooter guaranteed. Let's go kill secured for Soxa.
Oh, nauutal na naman yung caster.
Radiant's
Bubulol na naman.
He just started to run, and by then it was too late. Though. The onslaught came out, we saw. And this is Tundra, though. Again, most kills per game coming into this here in the group stages. This is why they play so active. And this is a team that certainly speaks to them. They're going to keep this going. A big fight on the Huskar. They have the vision, and they take him out with low life.
Okay, but that's one detail they want to be a little bit careful with. You saw what happened there. They threw out the bushwhack to keep him perma-stunned, and then 9 broke the trees. That's maybe one of the de-synergistic elements of these 2 heroes. And we actually saw it from Tundra yesterday as well. I think it was against Asta with the anti-mage, where they panicked to try and get him, and they dropped an Undying Tombstone, which made the bushwhack miss. Just didn't matter in that kill, but it's something to keep in mind moving forward. Is like they could screw over their own combos a little. I think that's why a lot of teams haven't necessarily rated Hoodwink that highly at the moment. It's just, it feels like your stun is just so easily countered by a lot of popular picks that you pick right now.
Huskar is trying to build that BKB, understandable. Just again in general on the hero, it is going to be really effective this game. So
Structures are just like yours.
to have that, but it's still a ways away. He does have the Ogre Axe, and there's a Mithril Hammer in the recipe though. To come back to the mid lane and continue his farm there. Meanwhile, 3-3, his new land is the bottom portion of the map. He's basically has webs down here now, and he's flash to claim. Clockwork's just dead.
Yeah, poor guy. I think he was looking for the hook shot out. He wouldn't have had any luck there. The creep camp
Dire's
had been
middle
cleared.
tower is under pressure.
Actually, I think that was cool. Actually, I think what happened is one of Fnatic's members came over to check the camp, or someone made the call and said there's no creeps there,
Mga
so you
kami,
can't hook
punta
shot out.
naman sa carry.
Which is important, right? Because that is a big cooldown at this stage. I mean, it's only 60 seconds, but it feels big when you're being overwhelmed like this.
Yeah. Helped him if there was, but not the case. Free kill in the end for the life stealer, and he's 6,000 net worth now. He is 1,000 plus over the opposition.
Skid
in
is so
terms of
good
Huskar.
at this. Yeah, he's so good. Like, he had a great CS on the lane, as you expect against the Pudge, but there's something about the way Tundra rotate. You mentioned, like, they're very aggressive, but it's what they get out of that aggression. You know, one of the big puzzling details to me when I saw Skid on teams is like, how do they get enough room for him? He's a very traditional carry. He wants to farm, but this Tundra roster is so good at finding that space.
Are Radiant using echolocation?
Radiant's
working on
middle
that
tower
axe.
is under attack.
Oh, but here's the life stealer. We haven't seen this yet. It's at the Primal Beast.
Radiant's middle
2.2k
tower can't
HP. Good
handle
luck.
this deluge.
Good luck doing anything to that.
But they're not making it the most secret strategy here. They're just going to simply push the mid tower for the time being. They're basically saying, if you want to fight us, you're screwed, so let us just take this objective in the process. However, they are moving to the bottom, so Pudge will need to be careful.
Pudge, who desperately wants an
Dami
axe.
niyan,
There's
Jay.
only one component in.
Is
Might be
ikaw.
going for it.
Radiant's
Not
middle
careful.
tower
Saxa is going to try to open up. Bushwhack is ready to go. Use the pick ball to get in quicker. Sharpshooter going to be charged up. The second shot now comes from the onslaught, and bye-bye to Jabs. They didn't even get a chance to counterattack.
No, that was the slowest gank being developed right there for Tundra, but it ends up working out. Yeah, Jabs a little bit greedy to pick up that farm down there, and in the end, sticking around a little bit too long, but that's all that Soxa, or that's all Soxa really in terms of back line, getting that initial catch. allowing for the team to follow that up.
But you
The
can see
action
it's an
to be played.
issue. It's an issue with Fnatic's graph in that like they now need to throw people out into lanes and be vulnerable. And in some ways, it's kind of weird to say, but it almost feels greedy the way they finished this draft because of how they got countered. These heroes that are usually active are unable to really be as active as they want unless they've got Exo to play with. And this time they commit it and they don't even find the kill on this Saxa. He's going to get away. DJ now in way too deep. Sharpshooter, surprise, surprise, already off cooldown. Sets up for a nice kill for 9 to snatch at the end.
That was already a very risky move, doing it at that tier 2 tower. You know the TPs could definitely come in, and they certainly did. So yeah, Saxa able to evade death just long enough and by that time for his teammates to come in and help. So understandable that Fnatic is already starting to feel a little desperate in terms of making some plays like that. As that hook, unfortunately, the creep's in the way. 3-3 is like, yep, you tried, but I'm just gonna sit here now knowing you can't do anything.
Yeah, it was close to the minute spawn, so he assumed that the Brood had cleared the camp, so he just gambled for it. But watching that develop, and I was like, this is literally the hardest kill you can find on the map right now, just because of all the spiders. Like, you're a Pudge. How do you hook? How do you get in there? Hook shot as well. Like, unless 33 is being careless and just greeding out to the maximum of all the spiders hitting on the same spot, it's very difficult for either of these skill shotters to initiate. Oh my god! Well, they forced the hook shot out. DJ was being chased onto. Now it's going to force a bigger fight here. Pulverize is going to be interrupting this member straight away. Science now comes in clutch in the end. Primal Beast cannot be saved, but they'll be able to turn it into a win in the end. Huskers being traded out. Pudge has not got a leg to stand on in this fight, as he's going to be kneecapped. Follow-up is going to ensue. They're going to chase on the Jao as well. At least be able to stay alive for the moment, and I don't think they want to dive into the base too deep, but overall another fight win for Tundra.
It just takes too much damage to kill that Primal Beast initially. He was in a pretty bad spot, but is Primal Beast really ever in a pretty bad spot? Not necessarily. It felt not near impossible to kill, but again, the time that it took to actually kill him, it allowed for Tundra to get in there and respond appropriately. Lifestealer even jumping in, doing his explosion, and then we saw the after effect as far as Husker going down pretty quickly.
Yeah, and keep in mind that next time that kill won't happen. Lifesteal is almost at level 12, which means you have level 2 ult, so it's going to double the additional HP you get. 9's going to be too tanky. And speaking of 9, force out the hook shot. I mean, everything that I'm seeing out of Fnatic, minus that attempt on the Brood bot, is now reactionary. You know, or at least anything that's successful has been reactionary. Top, they tried the Exo play that just didn't work out. It just feels like Tundra is setting the pace, and it comes back to that issue that Fnatic have. They have no heroes that can clear jungle safely. They have to all be present on different lanes, and that offers up gank opportunities to Tundra. Oh my god.
Want him dead, yeah, Pudge. He's just going to be collapsed on from all different angles. Now, he's going to be too tanky, though, especially with the Frost Shield, but Broodmother's not going to get us up. The costly poke, Sharpshooter.
Top tower is about to take the
She's going to give up a lot of gold. That's all the Spider's dead, but as long as they get the kills worth, but they baited. Even to go with the Ray Pack, or a nice root interruption. So we'll go down, and now the charge root will get a bonus kill because Saber Hero Syndrome set in. Jao said it's my birthday. Can I please walk away? No.
May panoorin.
Yeah, and this Fnatic lineup is not one to recover from behind. That's just the blunt truth. Again, they picked a lineup that was ideally able to contest coming out of the laning phase, have the wins out of the laning phase, and being able to accelerate themselves, specifically with objective pushing. Huskar gets the close.
God, and
That is not a good feeling.
there was no hook shot. They didn't come out in time because 9 was just holding on that pulverize. This is, I mean, this could easily be 4 or 5 minutes from end, unless Fnatic finds something to grab for. Like, they don't actually have many objectives so far. They've got a DP lineup with 17 minutes in. They've only taken a single tier 1 tower. I think the next Exo, which is now going to be a level 2 one from Raven, needs to get something big, force a fight and push towards an objective. Anything less will lead to a slow but imminent death.
Frost Shield going to help try to delay this mid push once again, but Broodmother,
Radiant's
attention
middle
to it.
tower can't handle this
Whole
daily.
team of Tundra is here in Fest. Not ready yet, another 30 seconds, but yeah, you see that Deso already on Lifestealer, the +2 on that. He's even thinking about building into a BKB next. Interesting. Yo, Magic community, how much he's going to value that
Scanning for enemies.
game.
Wait, what on the Lifestealer?
On Lifestealer, yeah.
That's I mean, that's not your usual build, but I'm intrigued by it because I guess it's like he feels like the Pudge can live long enough, then there is the disarm, so there is layers that he has to be frustrated about. But it's interesting to see him make the side choice against two magic immunity piercing abilities, the hookshot and dismember. Though one of them won't be in the equation for an upcoming fight. Jabs, he's just going to stand here. He's done.
But I mean, to that point, again, is Pudge really an issue this game? No, I don't think he is. I think that, yeah, that makes sense to me in terms of why he wouldn't feel like an issue. And yeah, BKB, it will just give him a bunch of damage reduction, freedom as well in these fights. I mean, even Huskar, of course, as you talked about also with the disarm and the inner fire and his burning spear damage, not going to be so much.
Yeah, I mean, so like the awkward issue, actually, I think the reason he's doing it is because the only way that they can turn a fight is if Raven is able to go in, just drain everyone dry of health with Spirit Siphon and Exo to his heart's content. Your BKB, you remove that from the equation, right? Like, I mean, 33 is not going to match him. Instead, he's gone for a tanky build a different way with the pipe. But it does mean you're sacrificing a lot of scalable damage here. You know, you can go for something like a Basher, for example, instead.
Hoodwink finds a double damage rune. They're going to try to get that on the Life Stealer, maybe. He's far away, though.
Oh, Fnatic could steal this. Actually, this is the best video edit. This is a reread. I think Primal Beast maybe shoe on the lane for a moment, maybe 20 seconds ago, and they haven't seen anyone since. Now they're seeing people push on the mid, and although they're close, they're not close enough. This is a great move out of Fnatic. Exactly what they need to try and pull their way back into this game.
Yeah. We saw the open wounds pick up on Life Stealer with that shard, and they were attempting the Roshan themselves, but they, yeah, fell back, retreated, figured they'd do something else, and exactly a great steal for Fnatic, and at least part of the puzzle pieces that they need to start coming back. But Primal Beast has a double damage rune. He has the Infest inside him, and they're hunting, but it's not going to be found though.
They were hunting for a good reason. Like they see that Roche go, and they're like, the only way Fnatic has done that is with Exo. So there is a weakness to this move from Fnatic. It's now that you have to play safe until Exo's back off cooldown. That's a 100-second wait. And keep in mind that, you know, even when Raven does have that Exo up, they put the Aegis on the Huskar. So Raven, the win conditions could still be picked off.
Certainly a hero you expect to see it on, but general there. That's onslaught in though. Speaking of Huskar, he's got the frost shield up immediately. The onslaught didn't hit initially, but he's already so low alive, but he's going to be doing some good damage now. BKB's activated, however. The Siphon and 9 starting to run. Chain Frost is bouncing around with the Ice Fire, but good spread from Tundra. Soxa attempting to get away from Huskar, but he can't. But now Skinner, this is his turn. Great hook shot though, and Skinner.
Yun, nahila. Doon dyan.
May pinakita ko ng
kapraso. Okay, ubusin ni Team Armel yan. Sa Huskar yan.
But it's going to be stopped pretty quickly. And he's Fnatic winning the fight. They keep the Aegis, and they are now returning fire.
Big way, swinging the goal, 3K back towards them. What a fight coming out from Fnatic. And all that comes off the back of Tundra's over-aggression. Opens up with 9, charging in deep before his team is even remotely in position. You see them just flocking around the outpost, trying to get in quick enough, but that's a delayed response. By that point, Primal Beast is pretty much dead. He thought he could catch the Huskar, did not show enough respect. You see here, Inner Fire is a counter to this onslaught. It keeps you just out of range, and look how close they get to pop that Aegis. It was always a bait though. Armel says you're dealing magical damage with the trample. Okay, BKB on, Armel itself could easily go off because you're disarmed. Then I'll turn around and punish you. And well, as we come back into the main game, there is going to be a little bit of punishment going the other way, as they do pick off a Pudge, but you see how Fnatic can take these fights if Tundra overestimate their power and don't come in as 5.
Well, overestimate their reach, and again, Primal Beast, he's got that insane reach, but no Infest inside him, and the rest of the team just wasn't there. They weren't there to support immediately, and the fact that the onslaught didn't even connect and hit Armel as well, it's kind of just, you know, topped it all off as to why that fight was having a lot of potential to be turned. Fnatic doing a very well played on their part to do so. But yeah, giving them hope, giving them signs of life, and that's got to feel good absolutely for Fnatic. Even with that death on jabs, this Huskar showing that he's potentially going to be an issue. You saw Kyros is being built next as the BKB of course finished, and certainly coming into play that last fight as well.
Yeah, I think this is the realization now has where he'll probably have to BKB before he charges in with the onslaught. That was the problem there. Like if you have the BKB activated, maybe you're able to turn that into an initiation. It's still a long reach though. You need to learn a lesson from this. Not now. Back, hook shot on the back line as well. They found that, so that's going to intercept before he can connect with the break onto the Huskar. Now going to split up the fight a little here. DJ committed on two. He's going to fall first. Whip is going to slow down Armel as he tries to retreat away. Getting out of range of the Raven Pack door. Going to have to reinitiate, but is going to be forced to do so. Skidder gets through the first life. Saxa does have a stun waiting when he comes back up. And there's the onslaught into the bushwhack. They're going to cut and run though. Buyback does come up the clockwork and they're probing because the BKB is still there on Armel. And use it. Raven, Exo is about to run out though, so Fnatic need to get out fast with Onslaught coming off cooldown.
Yeah, exactly. Tundra is just waiting for that timing. The exorcism going away now, but that's a good job by Fnatic picking up on that realization, the communication kicking in. And we need to get the hell on out of here because Exorcism is now offline. However, double damage picked up by the Primal Beast. Lifestealer inside the Primal Beast. If they catch anyone, they are absolutely dead. And that anyone likely going to be the Lich. So not the worst target if you're Fnatic. It's still the kill going away with Tundra, but that's probably the best case scenario considering.
That's true to the best case scenario. You got to remember Huskar's around half HP. The Onslaught charged in with a DD as well. Like the follow-up damage would kill him. Armel wouldn't be able to survive against both a Primal Beast and a Lifestealer on top of him. So, you know, as is appropriate, even though it's his birthday, he will tank that gang.
Boom, there it goes.
Taking the creep farm though, and he's building the Heaven's Halberd. Of course, that's a very, very good item to have. Likes of the Huskar. Be nice to see that on him or Tundra. Lifestealer has the Ogre Axe, so he doesn't have the BKB yet. Still working on it. It's been occupied, so Skitter's network slowing down a little bit because of all the fighting that's been potentially happening.
It almost feels like, you know, they don't feel they need this one true carry to end the game. Instead, they're very complementary, all these heroes. 33 has the most gold, but he's just itemizing to enable these prolonged fights to counter what's happening. Oh, speaking of fights, we might be getting one bot as Raven. A little bit too far out here, has to commit that BKB. That's not going to feel good. Exo was coming off cooldown in 20 seconds, but now no BKB for 90.
Range on those open wounds, pretty damn long. And immediately once they go off, Death Prophet realizing that he had a BKB and teleport. So yeah, you're right though, with the BKB on cooldown now for another 70 seconds. Exorcism is coming off cooldown, but without the BKB, a bit more fragile. So I want to play safe for the time being. That BKB, speaking of that, Lifestealer, is he almost there? 700 gold saved up, needs the recipe. Out there. Heaven's Halberd. Finish? No, almost, but clockwork.
Okay. It's because 9, like, he can't commit because he doesn't want to BKB before onslaughting because he waits 1.5 seconds followed by like an extra 1 second. So that's always an advantage Fnatic have, is that 9 won't use the BKB to start.
I know he's turning this into a Hurricane Pike, but it is interesting the value here that Huskar going the 4-staff first for the eventual Hurricane Pike. But yeah, it certainly would have been helpful that last fight.
Yeah, like if you think of what happened in the river, he couldn't get anywhere near anyone. Even with 2 lives, he could get nowhere near them. So this makes sense when you consider you need to counter Tundra's gameplay. So far, I've looked at the 2 itemizations on these sides, and I feel like it's Fnatic getting what the heroes require, while Tundra, everything they're building is directly designed to counter what Fnatic did.
Well, yeah, and getting even more to that point, Armel, clearly an adaptation, because he did have that Assault Cuirass queued up, and he even picked up the plate mail, as we see. So, figuring that, okay, yeah, I'm getting kited, need that 4-staff, and the eventual Hurricane Pike certainly going to be useful as well. But certainly adapting to the game. Now it's being played off. Saxa's been a bit of a distraction here at the bottom. You even see that boomerang coming into play. Get away, though.
I start to realize just how impactful this open wounds ag shard pickup by Lifestealer is with the Primal Beast, actually. The trample is going to allow you to just lifesteal as you mash someone's face in the ground. So if 9 was hard to kill before, it becomes even more difficult. Especially if you don't have your BKBs available. That's at least the plus side for Fnatic fans. Like, all the cores do have BKBs, but as you've seen, it's very easy for Tundra's lineup to force a BKB prematurely.
There is the BKB finished on Skidder, so certainly to the added value here, that mixed in with this rage. A lot of uptime in terms of Magic immunity. 15 seconds right now to be precise.
Which
will more or less bring him to another rage.
Right, that's true. I guess it'll even longer, yeah.
Very unfun game for Fnatic. Now, we mentioned they have these Magic immunity pierces. It's just like, you can't... I don't feel like you can commit only onto Lifestealer. And
Patay na
once again,
naman
it comes
yung
back to the
judge
fact that Tundra done this by design. Prioritize all 3 heroes equally. They're going to follow it up. Jabs doesn't use the BKB straight away. Going to dismember out now into the lifesteal. He is controlled up, but way too tanky, and they've used the Exo already. Everyone's going to look to leave. 9 will make his retreat out with the Ags causing anarchy on the exit. And that's Exo used for nothing.
Yeah, the reset from Tundra is successful. The onslaught just slightly missing in terms of hitting the heroes, but still. Tundra, again, able to reset this. Like we talked about, no BKB committed in from Lifestealer either. Whereas Death Prophet committing everything. So, another case of Fnatic. They want to just avoid a fight, and speaking of avoiding fights, that's not good news because Roshan is up and immediately skitters in the pit. Yeah, this should be a pretty free one for Tundra.
Yeah, you can't make a play about Exo. The last time they were able to get Roshan off the back of that. You're starting to see why, while DP can be a very impactful hero, teams aren't crazy to go right after it. It's this exact issue. You press one button, and if you don't do anything with it, you're useless. If you think about the drafts we've been seeing out of a lot of teams, there's these disengaged type drafts. Tundra have it in bundles. 4 stars, they've got heroes that are independent, can quickly move away. It's so difficult, and it's about to get worse. Raven gets caught in the bot lane. They will counterattack on this CM, but TB rotation's coming for the rest of Tundra. They're ready to fight, and they're going to connect. Before they go down, they lock the Huskar on the spot. DJ is going to be a follow-up kill as well. They do at least get Raven out at a very high price.
Yeah, very exactly. Huskar dying is, again, I know Raven's the position 1, but Huskar is your key, definitely, in terms of just being able to get that presence in these fights, getting on that single target and bursting them down and killing them quickly. So him being dead, a big factor, especially when you go back to the point that Death Prophet doesn't have his exorcism still down for another 45 seconds. So if you're Tundra, of course you understand that, and they're just slowly but surely restricting the map now against Fnatic and which lane they want to actually push in. The bottom lane and the mid lane both getting a push. I guess the mid lane's not necessarily the bottom one, but they're just going to go right into the racks. Yeah, no backdoor protection. Let's go.
And the creeps are close enough on the bot lane, so it's going to disable the backdoor. So instantly forced to use the cliff here. There's still going to be a window of opportunity, and with the amount of pushback they have with Dessa and the Brood Mother, that's a melee racks guaranteed.
Radiant's middle barracks have fallen.
Even know the rules?
No, we've seen that before in these Lich games. The Frost Shield, it's a factor.
It is. It's just they're so far ahead on Tundra that it's not going to be as impactful as games we've seen before. It will slow things down, but if that's Fnatic's game plan, I then ask, what are you waiting for? Where is the recovery? There has to be something more, because when I look at the scalability of these two sides, when I consider the way Exos are being used and how hard it is to use them well, Tundra will still have the advantage later on.
Primal Beast. He's just waiting with that Lifestealer inside.
Boom, there it goes.
Waiting for the chance. He's got that uproar buff as well, of course, from the Ags. I don't know if we've brought that up yet, but that's another tool in these fights.
So annoying.
Going.
The damage, it's not just the damage though, it's the break as well. Like, you've got multiple heroes that get hurt by this. The Pudge is going to lose that a little bit of extra damage block, but the big one is the Huskar. This BKB getting lower. Luckily, he's been able to hold on to 8 seconds because he's not able to use it so often. But once that gets low and these prolonged fights being great, yeah, good luck surviving that stage. No magic resistance. That range is so intimidating.
It is. Gets him to use his cogs and then walks away. So you're really just trying to get all 3 lanes pushed in is what Tundra's doing right now. The Aegis has, what, how long? 216 on it, so you need just a couple more time.
Radiance.
Oh, it's going to go down. Full playthrough is just going to right click the groups arrived. It was that low. But that's all our tower's gone. So Fnatic really don't have anywhere to play outside of their base right now. In fact, if you check their vision, this is your nightmare. We've all been here in a game of Dota before, folks. Where are they? What are they doing? Do we leave? All the answers are no, no, no. Stay in the base. And we've been seeing a lot of TI as well. Just teams. Even when they're behind, even when it feels like they need to make a smoke play out, they hesitate. I'm hoping that Fnatic will try to make a play in the next 2 minutes. Once that Aegis expires, they need to try and find a target.
I mean, they need to get the jump. They can't let the fight come to them. That is very evident, right? The jump starts with the Pudge specifically, let it get that good hook. Follow up from there. I know it's a lot easier said than done, but finding yourself in a hole such as this one kind of makes some desperate plays sometimes. But the Aegis, it's starting to get down there. Minute 16, but we see Smoke play now from Tundra as they move towards the bottom lane, hoping that somebody may get greedy and push this one out on the side of Fnatic, but that's not going to be the case. Goes back to that there, just comfortably sitting back in their base, just waiting out this Aegis, if anything. At least the Hurricane Pike is now finished for Huska. I was going to mention that. He's been sitting on that 4-staff for the longest time. Hasn't upgraded it yet, but does get the Hurricane Pike.
Raven, that's too far out. Ooh. I mean, they could have committed, but it's a little bit too close to the base without vision. But he's playing with fire right now. That Aegis is still in play, and they are still hunting. If Raven goes down there, he does at least have buyback, but that gives a clear win condition. So Fnatic, they are on a razor blade edge here.
Yeah, it's your Tundra. I suppose going high ground isn't necessarily...
It's more about that lich you talked about, right? Like it's not quick, which is why last time they came in, it was off the back of a Fnatic mistake.
We got the tier 4 items popping up here in the near future. So.
Yeah, this smoke timing.
Oh.
They're trying to
He's
bring
such a
down
tough kill even
Radiant's
if he
top
connects.
tower.
He was so far back, and he's got evasion, he's got Lotus. Like, it's not even the ideal one to go after.
I think it's a blessing that he missed. No, I'm with you. Because especially since Tundra was honestly pretty close as well to the Brood, that could have just been an absolute disaster of.
Yeah, it's like one of those fights where you're like, oh, look, what's he doing here? And then when you hook shot in, you're like, wait, his team is probably on the high ground to the right. Oh no, we're out of position. Because then they just slap you in from the side, right? It's like, you know, you're in a battle, you got these cool little blades looking to finesse someone, they just come in with a giant warhammer and slap you in the ribs, and you just go flying. It's not the type of fight you should ever be taking. I like the looking, you know? Yeah. Even if they're maybe a bit too ambitious with what they're reaching for.
Oh, certainly. It goes back to that as well, you know, if anything, more entertaining than just sitting in the base, which is also understandable, but not gonna get the catch there. Brood Mother, though, it's a classic case of that overall net worth is continuing to grow for Tundra. That's Fnatic.
They're dangling
safe about it. They are.
But they've left him. And I don't think Jabs gets out quick enough. No, this is too late. Sax is here. Keep hunting. I've got the bushwhack, and he's gonna gamble on it. What?
Nope.
But how did it miss?
Don't question it.
No, I gotta question that. Like, replay.
Bottom lane,
right,
bottom lane. Onslaught, gonna go in, catches Lich. That's half life, gonna take off that leads off the pass, gonna do some good damage. BKBs will be activated though, and Lich still alive for the time being, but Clockwork not so much. Finally, Lich is dead. You see Huskar holding his ground. Going for the auto attack, gonna Skinner sitting on top of Jab. The onslaught back in. The BKB's gonna be wearing off for Raven soon though, and he will be much more vulnerable. The Infest helping to save 9-9. Does go down. The Act Effect though gets the kill on Huskar. 3-3 credit for it, and he also gets credit for the kill on Jabs. Raven blinking away, but yeah, this is going to be a push into the base now for Tundra.
It's no exo, Breaky. Like, this is worse than it even apparently appears. Even if you have your buybacks ready, even if you commit everything now, Raven is just a giant walking creep at this stage. No exo, no BKB. Great fight coming out from Tundra. The patience, the cover. This is what I love about the Lifestealer. A hero that can infest save. It's a carry that offers support saving mechanisms. And definitely saved the day there. Now they're going to drag him in. It's a mess you don't want. The sun's going to come out of Jabs. They'll whittle him down. He's gone already. Clockwork's also going to hit the deck. They'll double buyback with a clock plus the Huskar, but they still have no answer. Huskar's rooted up, no BKB for 35. Skinner's still ready to party. Rage coming up, cooldown at 3. Bushwhack will connect. Break full up is going to be a whip. DJ with the intercept will slow things down. But they're waiting in the tree line, ready to break out. Play free says, hop in, buddy. I can get you out of these trees. And now that you're out, let's go about. Straight on top of Raven. He's going to be gone quickly here. No save is going to be good enough. Armel also now in trouble. Rage to make sure he can't disarm Skidder. Skidder can't quite finish though. The save from DJ keeps Armel in the game and buys much needed time. Exo still on cooldown, but only 40 seconds away.
It's time to go off actually. Clockwork's going to die back though, so he's out for 70 more seconds in the backline. Raven, BKB T-Bounce, we have a BKB though, lives using his. So does Armel, but that physical damage is going to shred right through the armlet toggle. Keeping Armel alive a little bit longer. Here comes Nine, though, trampling on the ground. Onslaught in 3 seconds. He's going to pulverize the Lich instead. The final kill you. Armel back to the fountain. They're not going for the objectives. They want the damn hero kills. Got it focused back. Never mind. They're going back in, looking for the finish, and there it is. 95 seconds. GG well played. Tundra will officially take game number 1.
Dominant from start to finish. Tundra, what a drop and what an execution. Fnatic, you know, there were moments where they looked like maybe it could come together, maybe they had a plan, but they're always locked in behind these cooldowns. I love the way they tried to flex their drop. There's no denying at the end of the day, Tundra had a clean.
Maganda yung sunod na panoorin. Eric. Lamangang Biscos.
Wise king always has an
Spirit.
army in the wings. Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Ang Biscos halo nung unang araw to eh.
Dire's middle barracks have fallen.
He's fighting with us.
To ashes.
Na isang one hit lang. Isang normal attack ay na.
That's a relief.
Dami ito. Kapal ng bawas. 20 na yung nandito.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
There you go.
Isang tayo eh.
By the wall, Dire's bottom barracks.
Dire's bottom barracks have fallen. Dire's middle tower is drowning.
In the K1. Regardless, they are up against it here from Team Spirit. Creeps on the card, but they might be able to get another kill as well. As 4 members of Beast Coast sacrifice their life to get the Mega Creeps.
Surely this double damage on the top side of the river wouldn't change things, would it? I mean, you got tier 2s, you're having to deal with Mega Creeps. Wonder if they're even going to buy a few different items as Yatori. He's already queued up the Divine Rapier, but you know, what a great find again onto the backlines. Just creating enough space to be able to take these Mega Creeps. Of course, doesn't feel great to be falling down, but it's a great reveal of that first Doom coming through. And we just still don't see the Black Hole, the power of the Rubik, able to play from the backlines with the insane range on the Impale, just to hold them in place to get true value out of that Wukongs as well.
Yeah, that was naughty stuff there.
Hirap na to, isang gitna
All the
lang.
AoE control they would ever need to hope to escape out of the AoE Doom. My oh my.
Oh yeah, and they actually didn't pick up the DD fast enough. Mira had to do it because it was just going to expire. So regen root on the bot side, gonna make it a little bit harder to deal with these waves pushing into the base. Probably afford to go up top here on Toronto Tokyo just to shove out that one extra wave, but I mean they've been caught out way too many times by Gojira on his Nyx assassin, even just holding on to 3 Wraith Bands on this Nyx just to give him that little bit of extra armor, prevent the burst. It's past 25 minutes. Double the benefit.
Do what you gotta do to keep your own life. Aeon Disc is gonna be the next item for him as well, so just recognizing the importance of the Nyx assassin.
I don't know if even a rapier can do this one, Ares.
It's only a 3,000 lead though. Like they do, and they can defend very easily against Megas. Toronto Tokyo's got the items to do it. And he's got the Ag Shard as well with the important one. He is starting to get surrounded though. Are they going to come play with this ward? What just happened? What? I have no idea what I just witnessed. More than this man just to TP out and then just like the hesitation, like wait, is this real? Is this real tiny?
Illusions can't TP.
Great reactions. Collapse playing around with the BKB.
Is under pressure.
Importantly, the Collapse won't have this magic immunity though if he wants to jump into the middle, so they can kite him now.
He's gonna need to. Team Spirit, they're the ones on the timer here, right? They're the ones that are gonna need to split up, otherwise top lane's gonna be pushing in. You've got this very healthy wave coming through. Next time around at the 40-minute mark, there's even gonna be a siege creep, right? So it becomes even more of an issue. They're just gonna look to wait for that.
They almost have Rapier.
Alright. Yatoro is the best one to be able to deal with all these creeps. See here, the second that he starts patrolling the bot, he's needed back top. Power of defending against this, so might be the Rapier going up against the double siege creep, mega creep wave. Poster gonna look to play around. He picked up a ninja gear though on Whisper, so he can look to perhaps get a little bit more creative, dive around onto the back lines, go for the secondary blink into the tree line.
They gave the tome to Yatoro as well, so I think they just gave him the tome. What just happened?
Not sure. They want to get him up to that extra Wukong's ring though.
Yeah. I mean, that is huge. Like, very, very important. Because they will have the damage to be able to kill K1 once, and all of a sudden you just use the Wukongs in the second life, and how do you jump inside that with the extra
okay,
ring?
Hear me out. Yeah, I know I'm an advocate for this. Maposhka, you don't have buyback. You've got about 1,400 gold. Buy the Aghanim Shard. Oh, they got the Rapier.
No way! No way! No way!
Alright.
The creeps killed him.
They did, and they even used the protection on it. I want him to buy the little friends, right? You're up against Mega Creeps. You've got a Wraith King with the skeletons. If you could turn the Mega Creeps around onto Beast Coast, maybe that's enough to provide that little bit of extra damage. He doesn't have buyback anyway. What else are you going to buy?
But yeah, yeah, let's do it. Get crazy with it. Come on. What's Collapse up to? Also, just side note, you want Midas? You want Devour? Is he good?
Dire have the spyglass at hand.
What are you up to?
Target the Ancients, maybe cutting waves. Playing away from the team. Trying to be as unnoticeable as possible, but again, Beast Coast don't care. Bit of a key, that's close. Aghanim Scepter. Okay. Careful, he's playing around the ninja gear, but you don't know what the vision situation looks like for Beast Coast right now.
Technically, these all
Ended up getting that, oh, it's actually the Aghanims given over to K1, so you're even going to have the Shadow Fiend able to continuously get those right clicks going in these fights. You might just Zerg the Ancient as well, right?
Zerg. Alright, nerd. Calm down. StarCraft references.
I'm a gamer. Come on, Maposhka, buy the little friends. I want to see it. I want to see Mega Creeps turned on their owners.
Bro, he's got one Mega Creep. Look at this, just acting as a guardian. No one stands in between me and my base.
What?
What the?
Yes, alright. Don't deny it, bro.
I thought he hit the tower. Like, what the hell's going on? And then I'm like, oh no, this dude has got way too much health. There's the creep. And it just blinked for the last second, saw a right click. Fronto Tokyo, they're gonna see the Tiny.
Walking back.
Ooh, they get the jump. Trying to blow up the Nyx Assassin, and just gonna be able to protect it for the moment. 4K1, just assassinates and Whisper finds him. The Black Hole now on to 3. The best one you would ever hope for to close out this game is now C-Smart would end it with an ultra beast codes. One last fight to do it all. What a performance, what a last one.
Yeah, really, really nice. And you saw they tried to go for that turnaround potential, right, with the Black.
Uy, parehas pala sila ng standing. 7, 8, 9, 6, and 5. Uy, panalo-talo, no? 5-10. Mahabol-habol sa entity, ha? Hindi, lag-lag din. 6-9 pala entity. Kahit panalo, 6. Pre, ha? 16-16 pala. Team Secret, tsaka Aster. Tingnan natin. Ay, i-consult lang.
Discussing is ultimately going to be up to Secret. You know,
wala pa
we've
naman
seen
Fnatic,
in last
yan muna.
game that they are going to run whatever matchup is best for Lesh, and last time that was definitely mid lane.
Yeah. Generally the bans are mid lane heroes, so
10 seconds.
there's a high chance he'll go there, but Wrestler is always ready to play the Slash. And both Puppy and Crystal is smiling a bit, right? Because Monkey King and Racer being banned out right now.
Right, right. The Razor, though, always makes me think about Lifestealer.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So that does kind of open that up to play here for Aster, especially because you are playing into a Leshrac, so it's already not that bad of a match here.
Ban
No,
now.
but you need to. That's the nice part about having a second pick here for Aster. So like, if they wanted to pick it, they could do it on the 18th pick here.
Right.
They could possibly pick up a Lifestealer, but not before the.
So they'll likely just, well, they're gonna have to show another core here for Aster. Probably the off lane, right? Is what you're gonna want to sack. Use your last 18th for safe, and maybe your 24th for mid lane, or vice versa, right? Whatever you're feeling more confident in at the time.
I mean,
with Secret Show.
Yeah, the best would be if they could pick a hero, like a flexible hero that can go several lanes here.
Tiny in that way, a little bit flexible too, right? We've seen a couple of games of the mid Tiny for a couple of teams.
Yeah.
They'll be flex a little bit as Aster considering their last ban. Secrets will ban out that's Broodmother. Once again, I brought it up last time. I don't know if it was banned the last game here. It was by Team Aster, but it's a hero that both them play. And here it is, the Visage. It was not picked last time because Aster first phased the Enigma, but like I'm saying, this is a team that has been winning a lot with Visage here.
Okay. Do you know if they only play it offlane or do they play it mid as well?
I do not know. Let me go ahead and look at a couple of games, of which there are many for Aster.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and look at some of their matches.
No, because I really like this pick if they also play it mid. It's still fine if it's only offlane, but that gives Secret a little bit of an opening to like shut down a lane here if they know for sure it's an offlane Visage. But if he's flexible, like, because he is quite a good, he's also one of these range heroes that's quite good against Leshrac. Obviously, if Leshrac is way more farmed and gets to go on top of you, yeah, everything is dies. You die, the birds die. But
10 seconds.
Otherwise, I kind of like it.
I'm just looking here. It looks like again, only 4 matches. It's been mostly XXS, pardon me, playing it. So yeah, there's 2 pucks in this matchup, so I imagine. Yeah, it's been so far exclusively offlane, sample size of 4, and I think this is what I'm about to get at. They really do like to pair it with a puck, it seems, in the mid lane. I'm seeing that in 3 games, right? A Visage offlane with a puck mid.
Okay.
So perhaps the disruptor here, anticipation for Puppy, or just a hero here. does give a pretty nice lane combo, right? A Kinetic Field or Glimpse into a Bloodright in lane as well. Looks fairly strong.
Yeah. No, so then, yeah, if it is up, then they kind of got to counter this pick here. And they're gonna get to counter one more. So yeah, Secret drafting quite well from... Yeah, this Leshrac is doing work, man. So annoying. What do you draft here? Lifestealer. Oh, sorry. You see Bloodseeker. Okay, so they do go with your...
Yep, they still go for it.
True,
yeah,
true and tested, tried and true.
Exactly. Let me find these matches where it's been the puck. I think they've been, yeah, 2 victories with this specific combo, and then they've laned it usually with a ranged safe laner. I'm seeing a Luna and a Drow Ranger as examples.
Yep.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, so I just, you know, it was a combo I've been seeing, and it was like Aster fairly comfortable in running it, but again, I imagine Secret were kind of anticipating this, hence the Disruptor. We've seen, I think, 1 match yesterday, right, of Disruptor into puck, and that looked very convincing for Disruptor.
No, it can get ugly. Not as many nice setups here for the Disruptor.
Very true.
So it would be a little harder, but... I mean, Puck does fine versus Lesh mid, right? And Lesh also does fine. They're both kind of far. So there's not going to be any lane domination there. It all depends. But if this is the team to watch for Visage, I'm excited to see, because I know XSS plays kind of mean Visage, but the problem we've seen with it in the games we've casted is a lot of the time he suffers in the lane.
Yeah, so speaking of, I want to actually see, if you buy me another 30 seconds or so, I'll take a look at what the laning partner's been, because I see a couple of Marcy's here, but you know, it's been winning for the most part for them. So.
Yeah, I mean, this game they have picked up the Tiny, so I mean, it's obviously going to be him, but Marcy, stronger hero, of course, especially level 1 and 2. The toss spec is way harder to use. The damage is just higher on Marcy. So, in that sense, it's definitely a little weaker. You can always try to be cute. Maybe if they're playing range heroes in the safe lane, maybe they'll put this Maiden with the Visage.
5 seconds remaining.
She's way better at building stacks to spam here. And you do get more mana. Maybe that is the lane, the Crystal Maiden Visage. You get more mana to spam your nukes, right, with the aura, because you're close by. Quite interesting, actually.
Secret Aster muna. Wala pa yung game 2 nung
That's being that sniper. Oh yeah, we saw. Yeah, that's a terrible matchup for Puck, right? That sniper Puck.
Yeah.
That's a heads up ban.
It's quite good. Actually, a really good sniper game here for if Secret would have gotten their hands on it.
Very, very good ban from Aster to
get out of
that. And then the
Lipat na tayo. Lipat na tayo. Dito tayo sa mga Pinoy, mga kababayan natin.
We've seen just how good it can be against that Crown Beast. The follow-up Monkey King is an interesting one. Usually it's if you've got the Brood in mind, but that was banned in the first phase. Likely Tundra are thinking about going for a melee brawly type hero for Skidder. Something like the CK, Naga, or the Lifestealer come to mind.
Okay, so they banned the Shadow Fiend, which is completely reasonable to Fnatic, but we'll see if maybe Visage. But yeah, another hero I wanted to bring to mind as far as like kind of that save that we saw yesterday, remember, in the Aster versus Thunder Awakened series. Aster going with the Omni Knight kind of as a response to a save specifically against the Silencer as well. So I wonder if Fnatic perhaps has that in their arsenal as far as a possibility. For now, it's going to be Clockwork for time.
Yeah, and this makes sense. They're just getting rid of the most likely interrupters to the Primal Beast. You can see Tundra's draft is a lot more prioritized early on around 9's Primal Beast, which I think this is going to be. The reason the Clockwork is the good one to get rid of is that the Silencer, he can cover you on the global, but the way the Clockworks kind of initiate and also itemize, they can usually still count you out. Other heroes that can interrupt the Primal Beast like the Pudge are going to have a much harder time of running in and doing so with the global silencers in play. But Fnatic, quick on the response here. The Marcy does slip through into the series. I'm not even sure that this was banned in the... It must have been. There's no way, right? It did, yeah. I don't think it was first phase ban, though. Maybe second. I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I really would be surprised. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I would. See, now you're gonna make him.
Oh, you're my little stats man. So I think I'm pretty sure it was. No, it was not banned.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, no, it wasn't banned. Wow, that's surprising, man. I mean, that doesn't happen very often. That could just be an effect of the meta development as the stage goes on. I did mention at the start of the day that SF was about to overtake Marcy for most picks. Most of Marcy's picks, I would say, came from the first 2 days. All right, she's at 57 total, but I feel like by the end of day number 2, she already had 40 to 45 picks.
I think again, Visage is still there for Tundra. Darkseer, another one that maybe comes to mind. Got the Clockwork synergy coming out. Maybe the wall's not necessarily going to be the greatest this game. Vacuum, I suppose, wouldn't be best. Yeah, probably not Darkseer. Hoop is okay.
Yeah.
Tidehunter.
Tide. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so definitely leaving Skitter's hero till last. 33 on Tide up against Lone Druid, not too bad. You can just be annoying, get up in his face, slow him down. Likely you're going to couple this with the Clockwork. I wouldn't mind the Sansa being the support for the Tide though. We have seen a really big development with the Sansa, especially coming out of the South American region, but they prioritize farm on the Sansa instead to get him those important items, to get him to 4-star so he's able to be more present around the fights, not just worry he insta-gibbs and doesn't have a global anymore, and also eventually Refresher. Refresher priority in this game isn't necessarily that high. I think unless Fnatic pick a really big ultimate team fighting type hero, they'll probably just run this as a POS 5 Sansa. As the ban lifestealer, yeah. I mean, it deserved the respect after that game. Skitter is a very unique lifestealer.
I feel like they can maybe still use it. I mean, I guess they already have several
seconds.
Well, more so specifically with Marcy, but I'm looking at Fnatic like almost like an offlane
5 seconds
snapfire.
remaining.
It would give them something to lock in with initiation, but the core initiation is the issue right now. You know, we can talk about the magic that Marcy does and the way she miraculously turns up from nowhere. They haven't got this big hero that goes in to start the fight. So unless they want to prioritize Pangolier with a Blink Dagger, they don't have that solution yet. And usually when you're up against a Sansa, you want this overwhelming firepower at the beginning of a fight that kind of relegates the value of the global to counter. You want to just be in and someone needs to be dead. So if they want to run this Pango, say, in the mids, they're still thinking about that. You gotta start looking at offlane heroes that can just start the initiation. Something like a Beastmaster comes to mind, and funnily enough, Beastmaster has... Oh, he's been banned. Okay, yeah, we aren't gonna see that then. There's funnily enough, it's banned by Fnatic, which it would have fit the draft really well. It would have been a secondary layer of push.
5 seconds remaining.
I'm just looking for alternatives. Visage is still in the pool, but not sure how I feel about it against the Tide and Primal Beat.
That Omni Knight is still a possibility too. I mean, I guess they would have to go maybe a core Marcy then.
Yeah, but like the thing with Omni Knight is I don't think you get much value with it on the Lone Druid specifically. It's kind of a weird one. It makes more sense with those things like Ursa, Troll Warlord, you know, even a Lifestealer. But for Fnatic, like rounding this out, I mean, we'll see if it's going to be a core Marcy. I'd love to see some cool Marcy gameplay as a free here. And then they just round out with a kind of safe type support, maybe a healer. Okay, there you go. So not a save, but it's a present killer, which I like. So I mentioned they needed something to initiate the fights, and Hoodwink does that. But it does leave you susceptible to the global silence, because you bushwhack, and there's a clear delay in the next layer to the fight. So they will want to try and hunt for this silence and 3 lines. And like, you know, Tundra, they have some ways of getting this Hoodwink, so I wouldn't even call it a free Hood game.
Chaos Knight and Naga Siren are still on the... We're both very potent Skitter heroes.
I like the Naga, actually. I think Naga works pretty well here. I mean, it disarms annoying on your illusions, the only thing. I think Pangolier is really good against illusion heroes. Maybe they just go for a raw right clicker. It's hard to think like what Skitter would go for in that case, because I feel like most of his picks have been around either the Lifestealer or these illusion heroes. But, yeah, he will go for Naga. It is a really, really good Naga game. She matches the Lone Druid really well. She scales well. She's not really phased by this break element to the Hoodwink. Marcy struggles to brawl into her. It's a double minus armor lineup with a Tidehunter and Naga. So yeah, good round out by Tundra.
So it is going to be the Marcy core, the Hoodwink final pick. Jab's going to be playing. So yeah, and it also makes me wonder now, is Lone Druid going to think about that Radiance build up against an Naga Siren core on the other side with all those illusions? They don't have the greatest. They have Pango, Swashbuckle, etc. I mean, I guess Crystal Maiden can certainly assist there as well, but will that be enough, especially in the later game? You know, that's up to debate. So I wonder if that's something Raven will be thinking.
By my count.
I think
5
the
seconds
issue
remaining.
with like the Radiance build is you maybe feel this rush to get towards the Deso and a Basher because you don't have push right now, and you also don't have an answer to the Primal Beast grabbing someone. Once Nine gets a BKB, he's free to just smash them into the ground for the full duration. Not even the Roar from the Lone Druid will save you there. So there might be an itemization pressure on Raven. I think you could argue either way. But the issue with like the Radiance versus going Deso Basher is you're essentially playing for a later timing instead of playing for what should be a higher tempo that you have with this LD. And it's kind of weird for Fnatic because usually they are a team that avoid fights and just try to push lanes and buy time. I think they need to come online fast. They need to be quick in this game. If this goes late, I definitely favor Tundra's draft.
Well, to the stats, as you said, Fnatic is the longest game team as far as duration goes, so it's not necessarily something they're going to be hoping for this time around, and it's kind of funny to think about that because, again, on the other side, Tundra's a team that just loves to play fast and often and early, and in this game, you know, maybe they are going to be a little more back as far as not looking to be as aggressive. At least that's what the lineup suggests, but being Tundra, maybe they will still play pretty aggressive. We'll see. I do think the Hoodwink final pick to me is, it's hard to sit here and say confidently that as a final pick, especially that this feels, it doesn't necessarily feel like the hero that you want as that final pick to feel truly impactful.
I think it's easy to put a lot of pressure on the final pick to do everything. Sometimes it just needs to complete your draft. It doesn't need to be this god tier gotcha like a Brood. It can just be something safe. And I think Fnatic, this draft is a lot better than the first game. Let's see if they can draw it out. If Tundra are just going to steamroll them through. Now, talk a little bit about this Hoodwink and why it got picked. It's the Tide Hunter specifically. It gives you a break so you can burst through him. Tundra are going to rely on this Tide to do a lot in the early game. But something I really love about Tundra is, once again, how they give Skidder this save type hero. If you think about the two sides, one side has two really good resets, the other has none. You've got Global Silence and you've got Song. And why I said that it matters that Fnatic plays fast and doesn't let this go late is once you get late into the game, for Tundra, you're probably going to look at that Ag Shot coming out with this Song, with all these bulky strength-based cores. You'll be able to save everyone. And on top of that, you know, if Snaking does get a little bit of cheddar along the way, we might be talking about a double Global Silence type.
It is going to give Fnatic that opening, that opportunity of, okay, Global Silence and Song are down. You know, we can reset a little bit faster and try to make a play. Obviously, that'll have a lot of factors in play once we get to that point in terms of the overall farm, etc., where the game state is at. But that is, of course, something to keep in mind, too, when you talk about all these longer, big reset ability on the side of Tun. Certainly,
at last, the battle
viable strategies for both sides.
To that point, Breaky, like, how do you force them to use these big ultimates? The same with Ravage, right? Like, how do you force them to use it for nothing? Like, these resets will force you to go in, and one issue for Fnatic's heroes is outside of the Hoodwink, they don't have heroes that kind of in and out. Like, you can talk about Pangolier, but the way he in and outs is he commits the Rolling Thunder, and even though it seems like it's a low cooldown spell and you can't punish it, think about how many games we've seen where Pangolier uses Rolling Thunder and then they immediately lose 2 towers or Roshan or just the game entirely.
Mel on Pango, matched up against the Primal Beast. This is a matchup we have seen a fair amount here in this.
Yep, it's not looked fun for the Pangolier players.
No, Primal Beast has definitely been enjoying it, but again, to the point, Pango feels like he's one that's not necessarily too concerned about falling behind. I've noticed Soxit here at the bottom lane, by the way. He'll block this camp as well as now he's doing the creep pull, so certainly accomplishing his job. Or roll down here.
I do hope that around 7 or 8 minutes into the game, we see rotations out of Armel and Hoodwink moves to the mid lane. Because to me, I think to counter that issue, we have to commit to get these resets out of Tundra. DJ is going to be the MVP for them. If he has a really good game, if he gets to these levels, he's going to force reactions out of Bushwhack Sharpshield players. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And I love the idea of this Marcy Hoodwink because I think it's a very good brawling lane.
Down here at the bottom, just put the creep wave way behind. Mentioned Clockwork doing the pull. He's behind his own tower, but 2-3 with that anchor smash, the Kraken shell. He's doing very cozy. Got a stopper for him. At this point, anyways, level 1 Crystal Maidens still, so get away easily. Like an axe effect.
It really is. I mean, it's the type of lane that Sax is going to have a smile on his face on as well. Like, you can eventually rotate, and you'll kind of want to, because the one issue that usually occurs is this Marcy forces these weird tri-lane scenarios, or you sacrifice heroes. If your tide is always safe, you can always rotate away, or maybe you even end up rotating down towards the Marcy. Now, Marcy's making some action happen in the top lane. Good first blood coming out for the side of Fnatic on the lane where they need it most.
I mean, this is a hell of a brawling lane, that's for sure. The Marcy and the Hoodwink together, two heroes that could definitely kill, especially as level 2 hits, and they make it happen quick onto the Silencer. And Nagasar, and you don't expect her to have Ensnare anytime soon.
We have seen some builds where Skidder gets hit by like level 5 before in the lane, and it's been really impactful, but I think this is the combo, not with a Silencer. I like the way they played this, because I think one very big issue for them on this lane is if this turns into a 1v1 and a 1v1 where the supports are fighting, it doesn't actually favor Fnatic. Like, Hoodwink doesn't trade that well against Silencer because of the Arcane Curse. Because if you then have to run away, you're using Scurry, that's another ability, that's even more curse damage coming out. The best way for them to approach this is finding a way of converging his two. Double stun, that's easily done. Triple stun, in fact.
Mel's actually doing a really good job here in this middle lane. 15-3 versus the 11-2 Primal Beast. There you go. Yes, Lee.
A few cheeky denies early. I think what happened is in the first wave or two, 9 would use the trample, and then there was a low HP creep that Armel would be able to deny between the trample strikes. So really good reactions out of the Pango so far.
Oh,
Radiant think fortification can save them.
This distance.
Any port in a storm.
Nagasarin, how's he doing? Nagasarin's 10-0. Yeah, this is proving to be a pretty difficult lane. Benefit of Fnatic.
Yeah, it's the high damage of the Marcy. She starts off strong, and she's gone for a double bracer. She hits that 83 damage at this stage. Naga doesn't have much of a response. Lane a little bit of shuffling around for the runes. Armel does get his hands on it still, though, so good for him. And has to re-engage the onslaught. Nice turnaround there. They get the kill. Reactions will come in, so 9 will be punished for this. But overall, fight going the way of Tundra.
Saxa should be good. Getting blocked there slightly, but no, he's still fight.
He'll get away. It's going to take a while.
Oh, he's going back in. DJ, you got to be careful.
He had to be extra careful as well because the Rocket Flare was coming off cooldown. So luckily the creeps were nearby, otherwise Saxa would have turned that into a poor little squirrel feeding.
So goes back to the Marcy though. Yeah, she's having a hell of a time on the other side of it, as you're just talking about, for Jabs, or in the hands of Jabs for Fnatic. But again, how much impact is she going to be able to have? Yes, the earlier BKB, especially playing this core role, certainly going to be powerful. But again, she's not necessarily an illusion clear, right? She's not like a counter to Nagasar. So no, she'll be able to pick up the backlines though, something like the Silencer. That'll be her mission.
Definitely, she's a frustrator on the lane, but not much beyond. Because one of the big issues you run into is that even with all this high damage, you are up against a hero that has 10 armor. That being said, Skidder is at risk of going down. Staking does finally arrive in the nick of time, but that's the 10 armor effect. Any other hero there just dies.
Well, you know, as I'm kind of talking that out there about the Marcy being in this offlane role, they don't really... Oh, mid lane. Nice play coming out. Never mind, he's fine.
It's a problem base, come on.
Yeah, no, he's good. They don't really have like that aura carry. I mean, eventually like an Assault Cure, sure, on the Bear, but Wraith Pack specifically comes to mind, right? That is such a powerful item in this game. Top lane.
Oh, Jabs is in too deep. He made a very big fatal flaw here. He didn't respect that the armor differential up to 15 when Naga's under this tower. You just do no damage.
And he got Ensnare, level 4. He had Ensnare, and that certainly caught him off guard too. But yeah, no Wraith Pack that I would expect from the side of Fnatic is what I'm getting at, and you know, is that something that's unfortunate?
Against an illusion hero especially, right? Like, you're not going to be able to reduce that overwhelming firepower that Naga can provide. And we've seen, like, Naga's no joke these days, you know, but ever since they changed the Riptide, the way it works, and once you get the Manta style, you can do a lot of work. In fact, there's even some nice builds around things like the Orchid that we've seen before that allows, or Diffusals as well, that allow her to go for solo kills easy.
But that is the meta right now, though. Again, all these offlane heroes are building basically Wraith Pack that feels like a Marth like it on. And at least I expect you to go the traditional, more of the BKB like I was talking about. Blake. Bottom lane though, Raven.
Bringing another here as well. He's going to push them away. This won't be a kill. It might be the other way though. Ravage connects onto 3. Nice hit. Jackpot. Let's get him. Raven's going to be brought down. Gal will try to make his way out. 33 doesn't have a point in the gush though. They will at least find Armel, but Armel, confident in standing his ground. Roll of Thunder will come out in time before the barrier assault comes through. 9 will have to dodge like a god here. Onslaught is coming off cooldown, so might still be able to get away, but the Bushwhack ensures that will not be the case.
Yeah, that's a massive turn kill, at least for Fnatic. Yes, that started off pretty tragic. It was a Ravage commitment, though, with the rotation of the mid-primal beast. The fact that Pango's able to get in there and clean up as he did, I feel like Fnatic, and yeah, looking at the recap, in fact, it was a slight gold in their favor. For them, about just under 100. So you see Lone Druid now mid lane, he's picking up some farm there. So yeah, Fnatic, honestly, really satisfied with the outcome.
And they need to stop punishing this type of stuff because Lone Druid is having a hard time. He's the poorest core in the game. Naga's not too far ahead, but when you consider the start of this lane, you know, the fact that Skidder is ahead of the LD is maybe something that people wouldn't have expected. But it just shows you that the power of the Naga in the right hands. So going to be a rotation back to 33 again. Mistakes definitely made there. Tidehunter will be an easy picking for Armel.
Looked intentional.
Looks like they might actually make this a permanent switch as the LD is still hanging around a mid.
No, I think this is a fair argument. Kind of like to talk about the potential Radiance on Lone Druid. Probably not going to be the case. Similar to Pango, though, because again, are they going to have enough answers to this Naga Siren illusion-based hero? Does he go maybe a Maelstrom, even into a full Mjolnir? Like, that's not the typical build right now on these Pangos. But I gotta think that's maybe a thought at least.
I think the Diffusal's just better, especially against Tidehunter, because if you take the Tidehunter out, and you can do the same to the Primal Beast, right? Like, he's gonna have BKB eventually, but you get a very big window of opportunity. Also allows you to just find solo kills on these other heroes like the Sansa and like the Clockwork. We'll see. It could just be that he opts into full utility. Things like Lotus will be really good this game. Against Pulverize, against the Ensnare, Sansa's as well. So, I'll have to keep an eye out. The only issue with rushing a Lotus is you just lose your own scalability entirely.
Attack the heroes!
Roger for now going to be coming out. Makes sense there. Jay, Jabs. Want to call him? He's at the top lane and
under attack.
Unleashing to help get that top tier 1 tower kill. That's.
I would like to call him Jarcy. Yeah, that's his name.
Oh, okay, I get that. I was like, there's some inside, like, deep joke there or something? I'm not kidding. All right, bottom lane tight.
He's looking like a joke. I mentioned he got counted out in the drop by the Hoodwink. You see how easy it is. Like, even if it's not a full charge sharpshooter, it's enough to stop him from getting this spot. Oh, hello. They found Jarcy. She's no joke. Right, tanky. Not tanky enough though. Onslaught through and the trample will finish her off.
Pulverize used there initially. Huge to make that kill happen, but yeah, you're all right. That is where the Hoodwink is getting a lot of that value with the final pick. The fact that they're able to just kill a Tidehunter so easily. Has to feel pretty good. Being a Tidehunter, he's got the Vlads and can be building his own Wraith Pact as you'd expect.
No, it's just, you mentioned it's kind of just the go-to. We see it on pretty much everyone. It will allow them to push pretty effectively. It's a way that you can kind of get the Naga to start participating. You know, the extra bonus damage from the aura is no joke. It's something they snuck in a while back. Like, I remember a few years back when I was casting and I pointed out how broken it was and it should appear at TI. And it was funny because a lot of players even forgot they even had the damage percentage to it. It's always just been such a good item. I think that's just an extra layer that makes this pack build so damn good.
And realize here on this
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Back to that. Lone Druid though, he is going the typical Mask of Madness to the Desolator. Play. As far as Pango's concerned, and the typical. Fusel queued up. They're not necessarily going extra tools to try to deal with this Naga Siren later on in the game. See if that.
I mentioned this already, right? Like they can't address the late game. They need to address the mid game. Their win condition is mid game. If they play for a very late timing, they're going to lose this game. So unless they're miles ahead, I just want to really like highlight that there before. It's like whoa, but what you're saying, they just GG out at 35 minutes. No, if they've got like a 15k net worth lead, if they're escalating, they can be comfortable with a little bit of late game. But if we say we're 40 minutes in this game and both sides have equal net worth, I'm going to favor Tundra draft.
Foxman's down here at the bottom lane, fixing this Primal Freeze Armel though. Going in, there's a hook shot. Not gonna do too much though. Or is jumping in here, Primal Beast. You can't TP out just yet, of course. Got to be careful about that. Global Science is going to be used, though. They're going for the turn. As Skinner shows up as well. The pulverize on a hoodwink, and now Pango has to be careful and snare. Yes, the song is ready as well for Nagasar. The onslaught, sir. It even catches the Crystal Maiden in the back lines, and the illusion starting to tear him down. 9 getting low. There is rotation coming out for the Marcy. Keep an eye on her. Found by 3-3, though. That'll be the end.
Run, Jossie, run. Don't want to deal with 33. Now, this is the thing about this hero. This is why this hero looks so busted. How many heroes in Dota 2 can do what 9 done there and survive multiple times? Like, he came to the edge of the abyss multiple times. He should have been dead, it felt like, around where the tier 1 used to be. And then the dive in on the CM afterwards gets ruined, still somehow survives. Not many heroes can do this. Usually you think heroes like Tidehunter, but the difference that balances Tidehunter in comparison is he doesn't have this level of mobility to him that the Primal Beast does.
Close. Nagasarin, though she continues to be the top net worth, again, even getting involved there at the bottom lane. She's got Manta style well in the works, has her Yasha, 1800 gold. Up.
Top. Yeah, they got the vision, so it looked like Marcy was tempting fate there. I was watching that, it's like, you have vision, you remember there's a 2000 range initiation hero in this game, so it does back up just in time. They were getting position. They do have the hook shot, so might still find a target here. Wood goes down from Saxa. They do see jabs. He's on the silencer.
It's like, come on, man. I'm the one that's supposed to be locking you down with silence. Top lane, the engagement takes place. They go for the kill on the Jersey. And it is going to be successful, maybe? Yes, it is. Yeah, they're trying to save Great Carmel's here. The punishment is there. They take out Silencer or excuse me, Clockwork and now Primal Beast. Onslaught. They're trying to predict this. You see the swashbuck before, but he's going to turn into that piggy and
Can they just change his raw noise to a bye, have a good time? It feels more appropriate. Like, once again, he goes in, it's an initiation tool, it's also a get out of jail free tool. It's kind of funny how other heroes in that situation would have most definitely died with such a great rotation out of Fnatic, but it shows you how elusive this hero is. And at the end of that, ends up being a slightly better favorable trade for Fnatic, but maybe not for long. 9, right across to the mid lane. Captain of Jal, the bear has arrived, but the Rav's going to come out. He doesn't at least use the true form. They need to get out fast, but not able to do so. 9 gets caught by the bushwhack. Global Stance is going to be essentially wasted here. Ravage only gets them a kill into a Crystal Maiden.
And here's that window now that we talked about, right? Where with the Global Silence, with the Ravage on cooldown, now you can feel very comfortable if you're Fnatic in terms of starting to get more aggressive, take more map control. That's exactly what's happening here. They get the tier 1 tower. Diffusal's coming for Pango, so he's going to have that now as well. And he's got Rolling Thunder back online. So they're going to start restricting the map quite a bit against Tundra for the time being. As I say this, Nagasaran currently at the bottom and still feeling pretty cozy for now. But there is that window of another minute or so that they have, basically.
Exactly, and that's the beautiful thing about Fnatic. They're low cooldown based. There's not much that restricts them. You know, outside the Summon Bear, of course, that's definitely going to be a big one. But ultimate-wise, they're ready to go. The longest cooldown for their ultimates is actually for the Marcy with this good old Unleash. So a good state of affairs for them. I mean, you feel good even when Zhao's in the mid lane using his ultimate to push out. It shows you where their priority is.
There hasn't been much talk about Raven. That is because he's been kind of just AFK, but he's been just farming as he should be. He's been prioritizing that and working on that Desolate and needs the second Mythical Hammer.
Yeah, he's almost got it, but let's talk about the other characters. I feel like this has been silently happening. The second game in a row where Skidder just finds everything and anything. Once again, it's Tundra playing towards their real win condition. How do we get Skidder into the game? And this is how he's going to do it. He's heading towards an Orchid. Dangerous item for the side of Fnatic. They do not have a way of dealing with this. No hero has Dispel, and only one of them is going to be building a BKB this game.
Hailstorm. Ayos yan, parang may damage.
Dire are scanning for
Lotus
enemy.
Orb ability, but
Broke on them. They were trying to rotate. Yeah, but he's under a sentry. But you can't jump the Tidehunter. Like, there's not many heroes that feel more confident than a Tidehunter running in, even when they're revealed. Like, yes, please, hit me. Even more so with that Ray Pack complete.
So yeah, it is interesting though with the Orchid that you talk about. Makes sense as far as the offensive capabilities here, the lack of dispels. the typical build we haven't seen on him, and just in general with Nagas though, is that the Iron Scotty next, right, and then even the Butterfly, just really those heavy stat-based items. He's not going to be as tanky necessarily, but I think that kind of also goes back to the fact the lack overall of Illusion Killer on the side of Fnatic, and maybe confident about that.
It's one of the benefits of having these two bulky boys as well. Like, you just have heroes that are already going to be in, so you're kind of a second layer of initiation to initiating top lane. On both sides, BKB activated now by Jabs 9 and being off Pikachu. He's got the BKB on the way up. It's not going to arrive in time. Global Silence counterattack onto the Pangolier, the hook shot in. To move away, and Armel will get the Roll of Thunder off. Now the counter-attack is going to come in. Top side, Jabs is still 2v1 here. 9 has to back away. 33 is going to stand his ground. There's no knockdown remaining for the Marcy. They'll be to shift away. Both supports on the side of Tundra dead. And Raven even here to party, but so is Skidder. Orchid instantly gets a return kill, and now they'll look to retreat.
Yeah, he has Ravage, but it didn't mana. No, so that was something. There was basically two different fights going on. Basically, as you pointed out, Jabs was 1v2ing. Tidehunter saw that his Primal Beast was almost dead, tried to help him out. He didn't want to Ravage, though. If he Ravages, I do think they get that kill, but it would have been very close. And I can completely understand why he didn't want to use that cooldown, especially as the fight was still continuing on. He knew that the other enemies were just south of you, but Jabs did get out as a result. They got the 2 kills, and again, the support kills. Naga Saren's still fine, and all the cores essentially on the side of Tundra are still fine. So it's one of those fights again where I think both teams can be okay with the outcome of what happened there.
I think Tundra's very happy with the outcome, because in the end they've just used the global, but like, there's no repercussions, right? Like, you just see what happens. Instantly Raven's back into the ancient area. I haven't really felt the impact of this lone druid so far. Yeah, I felt the impact of the Naga. That's not the way these drafts are meant to go. I meant to notice the lone druid quicker than I notice a Naga in this type of game, yet Skidder is just omnipresent now. He's going to be able to hunt and kill. You see the power of this build on Armel, by the way, the reason he went that defusal. If it wasn't for the defusal, that Ravage does come out that you mentioned top. And then it's a turnaround where Naga's not just going to get 1 kill in support, probably 2 cores as well.
Oh yeah, no, the defusal is definitely what burned that mana when the following fight did proceed. I was just paying attention to that fully, so you're absolutely right. That defusal multifaceted in terms of what it's bringing to the table. And speaking of it, Armel wrapping around here in the mid lane.
I don't know if you want to wrap around this, though. 33 has plenty of mana this time. Roll Thunder, push back. They've got the lockdown for the time being, bring him low, forced off to get him away. 33 has got the Ravage, could knock him in though, no good target. Hookshot counter-attack off the point. Will go down response, and it looks like Tundra won out, but no, they're back in. Global Silence committed straight away on top of Jabs here. You already used the BKB. Skidder is ready for a party. Pulverize comes out to Raven. They're going deeper though. 9. No onslaught to work with. Rao will stand his ground for a moment, but the SingStar Elite is here. Skidder is going to stop in his tracks. That's going to be a dead CM, a dead tower, and a good fight for Tundra. And they still have Ravage to play around when Tug comes back up.
What did you say from the very beginning, too, Keith? The reset capability of Tundra, and several times we saw it there in that fight. The Global Silence, and then eventually the song coming out to just make sure to at least secure the kill on CM, get the tower kill, and basically force Fnatic away when it was all said and done. And yeah, even further, as you suggested once again, Ravage wasn't used. Well, that just means he has it now as he resurrects, and he's going to be joining the team eventually for another inevitable big fight to take place. So it was a great kill on 3-3. The lockdown was there for Fnatic. That's that single target burst they certainly do have, especially with the BKB activations themselves. 3-3 did not feel comfortable to cast the Ravage, understandably. You also see he has those tendrils of the deep now too, but using all that upfront burst on him, it's one of those double-edged swords, because killing it's good, but then you lose out a lot of your firepower to deal with everyone else.
Yeah, but you start to see the issues in Fnatic's draft, right? Like, they only have one hero who's going to go to BKB in this game. They are very, very susceptible to the lockdown in Tundra. So I like that Fnatic's making this play the best one they possibly could right now. They're going to sneak in the Roche pit because they know that Tundra's in the bot lane. They just revealed there underneath the wall. So this is going to be a freebie for them. Aegis now in the hands of Raven, and I'm happy to say that this should be where he can participate. He should be participating anyway with this Aegis. If he turns it into a farming Aegis, I do think Tundra still escalated their net worth lead.
Yeah, no, I mean, Fnatic certainly needs to get a bit more aggressive, specifically with the lone druid to that point. I mean, Pango's certainly been aggressive. I mean, the whole team has been, but yeah, getting LD involved, it seems like the strategy that's going to help them start getting control of this game potentially. And the build choice of him, by the way, which he has queued up initially, is the Silver Edge, which again kind of makes sense. Get that opener there and the break effect for more damage, especially against the likes of the Tidehunter. But right now, it's the smoke play from Tundra that's moving and trying to control the map on the top side.
Exactly. It's like, oh, you got Roshan? That's cute. We still have map control. You haven't taken anything away from us, really. The funny thing with Tundra is they weren't in a rush for that objective. That's one of the nice things of this Naga. Look at her build. She's got a heart complete now. She's almost 3k HP. So sure, you've got this Aegis to play around, but she's not going to die in these fights. So it's not obviously the same level of like impact, but there is an argument to it, especially if Raven loses this bear once, because this is a transformation type hero when you think about it. If your bear goes down and you have to resurrect up, I don't know. I feel like you're in this situation where there wasn't a better target, but this Aegis isn't that impactful. They try to initiate at 9, but you see how BKB just trivializes everything now that Fnatic want to do.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Wave, and the rest of the team is still at the top side for Tundra, led by the Nagasari, and you mentioned the heart. 3,000 life pool now, and this is where that factor of the lack of the illusion killer, I feel like is truly going to start becoming apparent if it wasn't already. Now, with that said, they do have objective pushing on the side of Fnatic, and they take advantage there as
and just to that LD Aegis point quickly, I'm pretty sure the way it works is when you lose the Aegis, when you die, the bear doesn't die. So that's at least one upside compared to your other typical transformation heroes. You know, you think things like the TB, you think DK as well. Lycan is another one. But it's still one of these issues where you don't want it to be a farming Aegis, but it's inevitably going to be a farming Aegis. And the issue with that is, as you noticed, Tundra can just do exactly what you're doing at a similar pace.
Pango, he just got the blink now follow up, but he is building the Maelstrom. I think that so it's become, you know, very apparent now that if it wasn't going to be earlier on, they are going to need those tools to deal with this Nagasar a bit more, and that eventually will turn into a Mjolnir, I'm sure, and that'll be the idea.
Is under attack.
Progress there for the Pango, but Fnatic knocking on the door.
I mean, the sidekick is no joke. I'll give them that. This bear just mauled the tower and blink the eyes. They will end up using the glyph just at the very end. You're not expecting it to be that effective. You can't remember that is an extra 65 damage per claw. It's not tap good. Pulverize under the bear. Sansa as well. That's going to force the initiative down. Oh no! Worst spot to get stuck. Has to use the blink to get out. Bear's got to be resummoned. The hook shot is going to be a whiff. 9. Be rooted up, so won't be able to hunt deep for a kill. Fnatic will be quick to TP out. Tendrils of the deep go the wrong way down the center of the 2, so they do get out clean.
I mean, yeah, it was unfortunate for Armel in terms of the positioning with that Rolling Thunder getting stuck, having to use a blink, but again, I'm going to say, considering the situation, I think they can be happy that they were able to at least get out. They got the tier 3. So that's the good news for Fnatic. But now Tundra, it's their turn to respond. Everything is ready. Primal Beast to pulverize up in 18 seconds, so not a big deal there. And you could tell now Tundra, it's their turn to make a move. I know the Aegis is still up for a minute. If anything, trying to play around that, the idea that it's going to be despawning soon. Trying to make a fight happen as it does. Butterfly is also coming along for Skitter pretty nicely. As he's got another 3,000 gold.
And they have got Silver Edge complete on the bear now. But Ravage in the middle, Pangolier here on his lonesome. You have to ask why. Thought he could confidently push out the mid, but he was dead wrong.
Is under attack.
It's understandable, again, just trying to push out that mid lane as his team is pushing top, but it was greedy. And that's exactly why. If the other team was ready to jump you as they were, ready to jump, Song is going to turn this.
They're bringing in heroes. They want to fight. They've got a global silence still. They haven't got Ravage anymore. The Tendrils, the charge through. The timing on it perfect here on the back line. Splits them up. Global makes sure they can't fight. And the Silver Edge is passed over to Raven so he can run away. The only good play available for Fnatic.
Yep, and Aegis was going to despawn in 5 seconds, so it is a good thing he gets out of there because they were likely going to wait that out and kill him if not. So that's again the good news for Fnatic is he survives, and yeah, good transition there, the Silver Edge on himself. But again, the reset. What more is there to it really? Nagasaran comes in. She also has an Eagle Song now, so again that Butterfly will actually be a reality coming up here. It's looking much more difficult for Fnatic. But yeah, it goes back to that Pango pick mid, obviously, and that's just well played by Tundra, the patient, and reacting when they saw him.
And just to emphasize, like, Raven should have died there. That is why that could have been a very dangerous fight, but they saved him. He passed the Silver Age from the bear to himself so he could get away. But as we talk about that, there's another fight. Jabs, hunted in, hold on to the BKB. Pulverize comes out first. Roll Fun is going to be there. 9, now position, not able to move away. The Disposer is going to stop him. 4-star will not save the day. Big kill on the Primal Beast and a nice follow-up on the Silencer. Saxar will at least get away with the hook shot.
I don't want to sound like a broken record, but going to, again, cooldowns are in play. So now it's Fnatic's turn to really capitalize and take advantage of that being the case. And great job by them. They're doing what they need to do when it comes to that perspective. And that certainly is what's helping to keep them in this game at the very least. So they are going to push up this mid lane, and we know the damage that they can do to these towers. So Tier 2's dead. Raven is going to send the bear to the bottom lane now. They want to kill these racks. They're going to force a response.
They're punishing the cooldowns. That's what they're doing specifically. Like, everything's not available for Tundra, and it's still not. Ravage still on cooldown for 5 seconds. Global's now kind of cooldown. Maybe this is the point you're a little bit too deep. Bear is going to maul through things. Tendrils are deep. Stop it for a moment, but Raven's still getting it. The Ravage is going to be committed here for the bear. 33 will not let it leave. Wow.
Doesn't have a resummon. Doesn't have a resummon for 30 seconds, so not the longest cooldown, but Kevin, that's a big commitment.
Good, very good.
It's a big commitment. Kinda. It's a rabbit. Not again. They have global science sleep, so they still have other big tools here. So using one of them, I think, is fine, right? And Ravage is really the only one that kind of makes sense there.
Yeah, especially, like, I guess if you do the math on, like, usually they're happy to use Ravage if they get one hero kill, right? Because they've got these other layers. Technically, it kind of serves as a hero kill, because as you mentioned, he's going to summon the bear again. It was still on cooldown for 30 seconds. So in reality, you kind of like crippled him for 150 seconds, right? Because now there's 2 minutes where he can't get another bear back. If this bear goes down, you're technically without your hero.
Yeah, he certainly has to be more careful.
Radiant's courier.
Nagasaki's going to be careful, trying to run down this Crystal Maiden. Doesn't have it blink yet. Oh, but gonna run right into him. That's unfortunate.
Nagtagpo.
Yeah, like that. Should have gone north.
Yun ang tadhana.
I guess he lost his compass, you know. It's very difficult to find your way around this map. I mean, which way is north truly in this game, right?
By the way, look at Marcy as well. So again, really just understanding that they have to answer this Nagasaki. And she also has a Maelstrom to go to Mjolnir.
They are desperate to address Skidder. He's still so hard to address. Head from BKB next as well.
Oh,
and look at the hook shot. Global, a little bit too
wala silence, ayos.
Jabs does get to the BKB, though. It's going to be forced off the way. Has got the onslaught for 8 seconds. Has got the E-Blade to protect him, though. BKB is going to be forced down. Armel calls an Anarchy on the backside. But the illusions are preventing the second wave of Fnatic from coming in. They do almost pick off Saxa, but Tundra able to duck out of that in the end.
And you can't feel comfortable over engaging for Fnatic. They know sleep is still ready, and Ravage is coming up quickly. 35 seconds. That'll be off cooldown. In fact, speaking of that, Ravage not off cooldown, but they're going for Hoodwink. Jump in. Connects as well. He gets forced out the way. In the backline's up here. Lone Druid is actually stopped. He's having a fight. TJ's barely getting away. Well, Lone Druid's in a pretty awkward spot. This freaking Phil doing some decent damage, but it's going to end up going down. And now Bango's going to get pushed back by the Cogs. He signs up as well. The Orc is on him. Bear's dead, and that's an Tango on top of that.
He connects on the multiple heroes. Marcy's going to plow through. They're all gone. Raven's all alone. The bear's going to go down. It still can't be resummoned for 10 seconds, and they're in the base just like that. Frankie, this is the most impactful Tendrils of Deep game I've seen. Honestly, a lot of people ignore this item. They're not sure if it's actually that good. It kind of looks like a meme, even though it's a low cooldown, but you just saw the impact, especially towards their base. Secures additional kills on the retreat and make sure they're able to dive in for the bear. What a ton of events for Tundra. And my heart goes out to poor little Jao. It's his birthday. He gets to make it snow the entire time, and it just doesn't matter. He dies to Naga illusions alone in his own ultimate.
That's going to be a shard now for them as well. They're going to get this clockwork right. Jetpack. Hell yeah.
Let's fly high.
Oh, no, they're giving it to Primal. Come on.
They gave it to Naga.
No, probably got it.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, Naga already had it. Yeah, you're right. It's just I guess I kind of ignored it because it's funny that she had it before, but I don't feel like she needed it before, right?
No.
Like, these songs haven't been used to reset from low HP because of how tanky Tundra's heroes naturally are. it's tough. So let's try and look at the plus side for Fnatic. Like, what have they got coming that they can do things with? This bear, if he gets an opportunity, can do a lot. We've seen that the split push is a way to win. And they do still have a tier 2 on the bot lane. So there is a world in which Fnatic goes top and deletes the racks before Tundra gets into their base, and then they look to defend. And that will get a lot of extra gold in their pockets to proceed to the next items.
It's what they have going is the play around the cooldowns, as we've seen multiple times. But again, I keep the adaptation that they're doing, because what did I? Pango was going one, then we noticed Marcia was going. KP, Hoodwink is even going to Maelstrom. Like, they really are just making sure to have every tool as much as possible that they can deal with for this Naga family.
He optimized for it as well. He got the extra 2 Acorn shot bounces. Yeah, DJ know what's up.
But again, seriously, that is the reaction of the BKB. And now 3-3 to seek it out of this. The song,
that's a brilliant
alive, and the song will keep him alive too.
Yeah, they can't follow it up. That was actually the correct play, because you've just got one hero who's BKB, so the rest of Fnatic can't pursue. That's always an issue with this song, is we mentioned this before, like the BKBs. Pango at least got one now, but always feels awkward to find the right moment to use it, because you want to use the Royal Thunder first. There. The Red Hunt jump in from Marcy. Nice hook shot away from Saxelberg. Should stop them from pursuing. He has got Song. Global's going to come out. E-Blade's going to save him there. The bear can't attack right now. That's problematic. The Rockford as well. He's getting chased down. Down to half HP. As is the Naga, but she does have that second life. And CM is a no-lifer right now. Tendrils is going to connect. Follow-up damage from the Silence will be enough. And the onslaught from 9 will finish off Zhao.
Yeah, Fnatic just has to cut away. Again, they're doing their part there in the sense of playing appropriately, keeping everyone alive outside of the Crystal Maiden, and realizing that that fight wasn't going to happen. I mean, jumping the Naga Siren when she has the Aegis, cannot commit all out to it as they understood. So they do fall back into their base and going to take advantage of the uphill, but the bear, gets pushed in. The caught trap, and that bear is dead. Yeah, Lone Truth's going to have to pop it. 120-second cooldown now, but again, has to play careful with that. Nice dodge by Pango. There.
That is actually technically a win condition. 120 seconds without that. They've still got Aegis for around the same time. Tundra are going to try to close this now. Got it. Sun comes out. Pangolin sees that BKB straight away. Skid up. Constructed. He could not get the Song out straight away. He still can't use it. Marcy in the backline pushed away. Song is finally going to come out just in time. And Jabs is without the magic immunity anymore. And out of position. 33 has got the Tendrils coming up cooldown. Marcy needs to get out, but she's not fast to do so. Push away so Tide cannot commit. But Marcy is dead. And 9 is in deep.
Global silence also to make sure 9 gets out. Crystal Maiden managed to live, by the way. The pulverize didn't kill her. So that's good news for Fnatic. I mean, everyone is still up. Naga Siren, 105 on the Aegis, though. That is a lot of time remaining. She has the BKB in her backpack currently. Taking out the tier 3. There is no lanes being pushed in favor of Fnatic. It's all going the way of Tundra, so they don't have to worry about that. They're just going to keep here and keep occupied in the base of Fnatic for now.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
They'll have that Song for 30 seconds, so there is a small window, but it is small and closing fast. Especially now that the Ravage is back up, Global comes back in 50. They want to make something happen, but that Aegis still 40 seconds is enough time to cover their cooldowns. It actually ends up being optimized well for Tundra. Fnatic will need one hell of a hold here to turn this.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Falls
attack.
off. There's a double damage room, but again, no team with vision on it, so not going to come into play here. The rain track goes down. Melee racks not going to be confident enough to stand their ground against that. There is no mana currently in Naga Siren, so maybe that's coming into play too. Wants to be able to cast Song if needed.
It's okay, he's going to get his mana back in 2, 1.
Now he's got mana. Bottom lane pushing out a little bit for Fnatic.
Radiant's
Yeah, it's going to be addressed now by 33. They just want to restrict the map. The cool thing in these type of positions is like when you restrict the map and the little lanes are based at your opponent's base, you're able to react to both sides. You can actually be split and still be close enough to turn a fight. Especially with these type of heroes. Song has such a huge radius, global silence, like they cover each other quite wide. Fnatic, no way around the opportunity. They see Tide bot, they look to make a move out.
Jins, the scouting of clockwork, the overclock. I just love seeing that ability. Fnatic does not like seeing that ability, but it's entertaining itself from our perspective.
He's just like, happy birthday, Joe! We got some fireworks. So yeah, it's so annoying. It's the vision factor. Like, it's more impactful than a Beastmaster when you think about it.
By the way, speaking of Ags, I wanted Nagasari.
They found him! Pangolier in the bot lane, the pulverized straight away. They back, but that gives them a win condition.
Getting what they
but
deserve.
again, having the buyback, at least that's key. I mean, of course, if he's doing that without a buyback, then it is really GG, but he's got one, so good hope in terms of maybe needing to use it. Nagasari, no, melee rack will die.
It's really tough though, Breaky, because now, like, you know, the global science factor, like, if you misplay this life tool, if you have to buy back, you misplay that tool, you're not going to have a roll fun to play. Your Arsenal. And Raven needs some lockdown to munch through these targets. The bear can do it if you can get him on top of them, but if is the key detail there. And Global's going to interrupt straight away. BKB and walk it off. They do force the buyback at the Pangolier. Now they do have a Ravage. This is a refresher buy by the Tidehunter. And Fnatic don't know. He's smoked up right now. This is going to be a vicious surprise for them.
Jins continuing to chip away at the melee racks.
They pinged it.
Yeah, they did ping it. So yeah, he's not so much of a being hidden down there. Well doing a good job. It's just a standoff, man. It's a matter of who's going to go in first, but it's slowly favoring Tundra, right? Because, again, they're the ones that are chipping away at the racks. Good shot. Engagement. Finds Crystal Maiden. Can they save her? Force dash. Cockroach Fabulations are in, though. Trying to finish the job. Tango trying to save the Gush comes out. The tentacles, and they get the kill. She buys back, though. Jabs. Armel's rolling in with the BKB. But you see Tundra. They're just going to sit back and wait for the right time.
Oh no. Armel is nothing now. He's used BKB, he's used Rock Thunder, he has nothing to contribute. They're just going to go in. They are not going to leave anymore. Raven tries to push them away for the moment. 9 is going to throw them away with the onslaught. Will connect to the backside straight away on top of him. No, Druid gone. He has no buyback. That will be the game. They could just stay around and kill everything now.
Including Pengo. The pulverizer at that point. GG, well played. Tundra 2-0 over Fnatic. And again, we talked about going in even with the first game victory. They were securing the top 4. They're trying to secure now.
Nakakaiyak man. 2-0. Oh, 2-0 entity, oh.
Killed. I could eat one of those.
Uy, la mga spirit. Tapusin lang natin to.
Bottling, but also Collapse coming through with that Axe reveal and, I mean, making great use out of it. Wasn't able to pop the BKB in response because he just stuck in on top of him. No chance for a snowball save even without the Blink Dagger. Essentially the Doom, you can't just jump in on top of it.
There's another awkward interaction as well with the Snowball Lotus Orb that was actually enough to protect the Phoenix in that fight. Maposh got brought down incredibly low, but great use of the Lotus to protect him.
Yep. And he's not using Fire Spirits for damage anymore. No, he's gone into the 500 health. He realizes the importance for him is just live for as long as possible. Use the Fire Spirits to slow down, make sure that you're not able to instantly just wipe out that Supernova, and then all your damage is going to come from the Sun Ray.
They're trying to bring down Radiant's top tower.
Spirit Scout out, 3 members of Beast Coast looking to move over to the triangle. They want to play aggressively.
Nice hook shot away.
Dire's middle tower is drowning.
What's this?
They still feel confident to push on forward. I wonder if they might consider committing onto K1 here with the Ags on Yatoro with still 25 seconds left. That cooldown for the reincarnation.
Flaps is on the other side of the map farming at the moment, so they won't have the doom if the fight breaks out straight away.
The TP and they made the jump.
They want to take the fight. Toronto Tokyo trying to target down Stinger at the moment. But Global Sun's going to be able to cover them. They want to try to do the Phoenix as well. That's up to Whisper's job and now C-Smile as well. Finally been able to address the post-got. Can they deal with Wolfling, however? Yatoro is a completely different beast to bring down. They won't be able to do so to start the fight.
Collapse is coming.
East Coast is still charging for more. They still want to try and close the distance, but not be able to do so.
Again, so much expended just for a singular kill, right? Going for another hook shot because Collapse was ready to jump in. That Axe, almost level 20. Sorry, level 18, so we'll have the... Well, actually, he's only put the 1 point into it so far. Putting more points into the stats, not wanting the damage, just wanting to always be able to use it with the lower mana cost. And
even with the status of this game being 12,000 gold behind, I'm very impressed with how Whisper's playing this park. 3-1-9, and his role in this game really just to address some of the backline heroes. Of course, it's a lot more difficult now with this Lotus Orb. But just the fact that he's trying to disrupt the Phoenix as much as possible and then enable C-Smile to also follow up. But you can't, because of how farm Poshka is, it can't just be the puck, it needs to be an extra person. And the Beast Coast are recognizing that. Like, as soon as Poshka shows, he's priority #1. Like, they want to show as much hate as possible on him.
I mean, he's probably going to just go into the Aeon Disc next, right? I wouldn't hate seeing a Yule Scepter perhaps coming through. But yeah, Aeon Disc is going to be even more impactful, and he's holding onto the blast ring too, realizing that all I need to do is survive in these team fights. They're going to invest heavily onto me, so if I can cause them to do that while actually getting nothing in return, then very satisfying.
Radiant using echolocation? What? Don't you roll
as well. Up is level 20.
Lane onto the Storm Spirit. Toronto Tokyo, oh my lord, he just survives. The Madman's gonna go back in because they've locked in C-Smile inside the code. Torres right clicks and now even working with the Primal Beast himself as well. Going deep behind the tier 1 tower. There's an opening for more kills, and well, they'll be able to use it perfectly, and Collapse is even looking for the +1. Bit awkward there, going past Stinger. I don't know if the tier 3 tower is going to be a deterrent though. It just needs the help of Toronto Tokyo. They'll instantly fly on in.
Radiant's middle tower just...
Alright, I mean, this is what happens when you just leave a Morphling to do whatever the hell he wants. Whisper, he couldn't get the solo kill, could he? Onto Collapse, maybe the tower.
Yatoro might get a solo kill as well out of the tier 4 towers. We'll not get too much distance away. It's the Blink right click into the other to get the kill. What's going on? Guys, this tower's gonna be killing. They want to be brought down. They want to try and bring K1 down there, you know? They're about to respawn shortly. K1 just hoping that the buck totally lies wasn't enough. Device and Billy was second to the boys to drop and then they are. A snowball in the big time to keep K1 alive. Can they deal with the build side? They can, but have they used too much? Throw off to the back of the respawn. He still wants to be all in. Oh, the Madman, you always are done. Nobody's stopping that train.
He
should easily get out. There's nothing they can do. C-Smile's gonna go for the Phoenix instead. Maybe the easier kill just sets up for another replicate. Are they going too deep here on Spirit? Like, there's no creeps, no other members. Collapse is like, alright, you guys do your stuff. Toronto Tokyo's like, alright, I'm up to farming. It's all on you, Yatoro.
Stupendous!
A little bit of fun with it, you know. It's still Dota, it's still a game at the end of the day, and you know, he's treating it like that. Wanting the rampage, wanting another highlight for himself. Mira picked up the Ags.
Stop the onslaught. Look at the Morpholutions. Oh my god, the damage. The big baby will do nothing. Yatoro is just so goddamn far.
The artillery's coming. Mira just firing them out all across the map. Trying to keep these waves pushed out, create that little bit of extra fear. Double damage rune down bottom. Had ultra kill. I was looking at it. He reached level 20 and he had the Morbid Mask. In the past couple of minutes, he's gained 4 levels and the gold for a Satanic.
Oh, very, very cool. Ready to see the difficulty with killing him off the ones. Good luck doing it a second time. They might even be able to catch out Whisper to the tree line.
Considering going for this mid, but
Collapse getting range for the... Oh, we can. Beautifully done. Mid lane though, they're onto Yatoro.
The Wraith King, and with the protection from Mirror as well, they're going to be able to push him to the other side, so they're done with the first life.
Still has Satanic.
Rajira has the snowball up shortly for Quiet. Victoria's going to waveform further into the middle. The Post going to try and provide some assistance for Quiet, but it doesn't matter. Dude, Victoria, it's just so far. They don't have a response. God, like on the Morphling, all that was going on. Whisper was getting chased down up top.
They're getting rocketed in their fountain.
The tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
I love blockwork.
Seth is very, very fun.
Middle barracks have fallen.
Toronto, Tokyo, not with the team, just keeping this lane pushed in, and they can look to converge up top. I mean, Whisper, yeah, he's such a key part of their team fight. It felt like as soon as they stopped getting those individual kickoffs and having those Spirit Vessel charges, you were so much less effective.
No more spaghetti. No more. Okay guys, thank you ulit. Maya ulit tayo magla-live. Thank you, thank you.